Buzzing. Okay, we're live. Hello, guys and gals and non-binary pals. Got some squats. Doing this cool little trying to do a yellow scheme here. So I've done a yellow that transitions slowly into an orange in the shading. I think I'm gonna do their basing first to match some of the other squat bikes I already have. And then I will go into some other, like some lead belcher for all the metal bits, and then maybe even the jackets. We'll see how that goes. So, yeah, I'm excited. Let's see here. A moment. Me sound out a couple links because, of course, I don't get a link until it's already live. So, share a link. I do a hobby. I'm live doing a hobby hangout, right? Cannot spell. Alrighty, then we'll go to Waystone. Right. Hobby hangout live now. Beautiful. Cool. Alright. Well, let's get into it. Got my little texture tool. Got my Gorilla Glue. White glue. PVA glue. Already busted the cap off, so this is already starting off well. Let's get into this. Also, my guest host over here, Sylvie. This is my sick kitty who is recovering from FIP right now. All of the crazy treatments that she's going over, but she's doing great. She's kicking ass, so. Hey, you want to see some stunties? What do you think? What do you think? Oh, man. Let's see if I can even figure out how to use glue right now. I'm in a great mental space right now. I can't even figure out glue. That's good. That's good. I had that caked on thing on the top of it, like when you go to the bathroom after you have sex, you gotta like blast it out of the top. That's what I had. But on my glue bottle, so that was great. Come on. All right. So yeah, I'm doing like a Mars theme for my basing, so I'm kind of just covering everything with PVA glue. I can show you what my other bases looks like. Looks like this. So I like that the red makes the yellow pop, but kind of meshes in with the whole scheme. So that's what I'm going with on my whole army. I like your emote because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you don't have to tell any dude over the age of like 25 about that because we've all experienced it and we all know. Oh man. My wife's in the other room watching Hocus Pocus 2 with her girlfriend. So if you hear any noises or whatever, that's them. You probably won't hear anything, but just in case, there you go. Are you working on anything right now? Sass? Or shall I call you Mr. Paladin? I don't know. Driving home from Taco Bell. Okay. Well, what'd you order? Important question. Because I ordered one of the I went LARPing last weekend and I ordered one of the Mexican pizzas and I immediately remembered why it was removed from the menu. Like I think everybody has like fond memories of the Mexican pizza and then but they don't really. It's like, what is it called? Like rose-colored glasses. where like you think you remember what the Mexican pizza is, and then you have one, and you're like, oh, that's right. Uh, that's the Mexican pizza. I'm just a chalupa guy. Chalupa and the old quesadilla, which also are impossible to eat while you're driving. Double steak grilled cheese burrito, no sour cream or rice, add guacamole, creamy jalapeno, and potato. You got your order down, my man. You're not fucking around. That's an order for sure. And it sounds like you have that memorized. In fact, was that done over like text to speech? I hope so. I don't know if that's yes sir to the text to speech or that's yes sir to the oh, yep, there it is. Okay. Now I'm tracking. So I bought this Mars sand stuff. Threw it in a bin. Makes basing easy peasy. I did so much like crazy basing on my oh no. On my granites that I didn't want to do it on my squats. So I went with easy mode on the squats. And of course it broke. All right, so this is the thing about the like official Games Workshop model is it only connects to the base in one spot. So it's actually kind of a pain in the ass because so there's a rock. There's one rock that only one of these little armatures actually connects to. All right. Now that rock is like covered in sand, which is what I wanted. But the problem is there's no other place for that to really connect to, you see? So it's just these like 3 points, 1, 2, 3, these gray spots right here. That's it. That's all you get. So ugh, I might have to. Oh, you just built yours. Okay. So how are you gonna run them? I'm thinking your mirror for my dudes right now, but I don't know. I really, really do want to play the Urser conglomerate, but with so many squats in the meta right now, and like toughness effectively not mattering against them, I'm not sure that that's a good idea. Because like all my troops being T5, they don't care if they're always gonna wound on 4s, you know. Thurian, good, good, good. Yeah, solid choice. That that like that reroll is solid, solid. So. Plus, like, Uthar is just an absolute beast. That guy makes Trajan look like a punk. No joke. If any of you came here to watch a careful crafter, I'm not them. Clearly. The warlord trait for which one? The one that lets them put on 2 judgments, or are you talking the specific Licthurian warlord trait? Because I cannot remember which one that is right now. That book is so good. There's so many good like warlord traits and relics and stuff. All right, let me look it up because now I'm super curious. The CP refund. Oh yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. As a Death Watch player, I'm very familiar with the Ultramarines CP refund strat. Yeah. Although I don't know, the more I watch games, I don't like their strats are so cheap. Like all the good ones are 1 CP. You know, it's like you're gonna get two CP a round or a turn rather. No, a round, a round. I was right. I just don't. I don't know if the like CP refund is really worth it. Personally, anyway. But then again, I might just be talking out of my ass because one of my weak points in my actual gameplay is you think Ymir died with the nerf? I don't think that they did, man. Because like in the like the mirror match, so they now have an invul, which is really good against anything that isn't obviously like Magna Reel, right? And then they're gonna have +1 AP if they're in minimum range, and then they also one of their traces they extend all of their ranges by 4, which like meshes really well together. So I mean, you lose out on that reroll, which on the Magna Reels is just fucking amazing. There's nothing that makes Magna Reel better than the Thurian League's reroll mixed with um, Uthar's like automatic like 6 to wound thing. That's incredible. But Ymir, I think, is still the better. Like, if you want to go fight another squat group or squat army, if they're like Greater Thurian and you're Ymir, I think you'll feel better because you have that invul versus most of their shooting. It's really good on the bikes and it's really good on the warriors, and the bikes are like probably the best unit in the codex. I know everybody's like, oh my god, land fortress, but the bikes are like the land fortress as a distraction, the bikes are gonna win you games. You know what I mean? So good. Sorry. No one wants to see my glue. Who gives a shit about my glue? I know if like Sindri joins this, he's gonna give me so much crap for actually playing squats. But I was gonna play this army even if they were gonna be like middle as C tier, man. I love dwarves. I love NASA punk. I love power armor. And guess what? They're all of that. So I'm in. I'm all in. Why do you think? See, like, I think Greater Thurian League got hit harder by that nerf because they have that reroll, right? So if you have your Magna Rail and you roll 2 to hit, you cry, whatever. But if you reroll and you roll into a 4 on like a 3 judgment token, then that would have counted as a 6 to wound, and then that Magna Rail like would have, you know, kept transferring through the whole unit. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna with the base cost of 300. I don't think we're gonna see any 2 or 3 land fortress lists anymore. Let's be honest, 230 points for that thing was a fucking steal. That was insane. Like that thing deserved that and Uthar and maybe the Ironkin HQ, the like Tech Marine guy. They deserve the most points increase, followed very closely by the Berserks, because the Berserks are also super good. Doot. 1 down, 2 to go. Yeah. Woo. I watched the new Top Gun with my dad today. Oh, such a good movie. I love that fucking movie. I think I've seen it like 7 times now. Every time, like, I notice a little something else that they like placed in there for aviation nerds. So very happy. You now have reasons to not judge units. Uthar can force the spillover still, meaning it's more efficient to pile judgment on beefcakes, making it less enticing to take a second call. This opens up a slot for my favorite dude, the champion. All right. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest deal for most lists right now is like in Chronos, if you're going to run pure Chronos, I think the champion is like a must have. But I keep playing with lists and I just can't fit him in there with my like all my shooting lists, you know? Like my Greater Arthurian League lists and my Ymir lists and even my Urser those guys. Can't really bring myself to bring the champion because I'm not bringing enough melee for it to matter. My Ymir list right now has 2 5-mans of the Berserks, and that's it for melee. That's it. 2 Sagittar, 2 units of 6 bikes, 2 units of minimum warriors, 1 land fortress, like completely decked out with the beamer as the main gun, and then all the ion beamers. And then I have a Cal, I have an Iron Master. Excuse me. And then I have a Grimnir. And I think that's, I don't know. I want to play that list first, see what I like, what I don't like, and then adjust from there. Oh, dude, I'm a total noob too. I've been playing for 2 years. Like I maybe have like 60 games under my belt total. Total. I am not, and that's amongst 3 armies. Well, 2 armies really. Death Watch and Grey Knights. I still haven't played a game with my squats yet. So I feel you. I'm also a total noob. I'm definitely not like one of these guys just out there cranking out like 5 or 6 like practice games every week or whatever. I'm not. That's not me. I'm definitely not Art of War where I live in a house full of people who just play this game. So I feel you. You don't have to worry about being a noob. It's called NoobHammer, man. I'm fucking bad at this game. Stuff on here. See what sticks. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is so much easier than my granite bases. My granite bases look great, but they are a pain in the ass. I. It's funny that you mention that because like I'm a I'm an asshole with a microphone and a YouTube channel, so I think people assume I'm way more experienced than I am. I'm not, man. I'm a total idiot. I'm a total idiot, just like most of us players, right? Like there are a few of us that are really, really good, and a lot of us are just playing for giggles. I occasionally play like super competitive, but I'm mostly just making my way. Votan is gonna be your second army after a long time playing and painting only Grey Knights. Nice, love my Grey Knights. Huge fan of my Grey Knights, man. This is gonna be awkward. Gotta get a little bit of glue. I don't know if I can get this on camera very well, but I gotta get a little bit of glue back under here to get onto this rock. And down below the rock. Definitely one of the downsides to having that. Yep, I'm making it work. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. I don't, but almost. Nice, nice, nice. Almost there. Trying to keep this in view so you can all see what I'm doing, but I don't know if that's always going to be possible. Trying out a new camera configuration for this stream. We'll see. They recently upgraded the Logitech Brio's autofocus, so I don't hate it so much anymore. But the color is still wrong. Like, this is so much more red than this actually is in real life. Like, this yellow is way more yellow, and this orange. See, that's more actually realistic if I have my finger in the way. That's more like what this actually looks like. But if I move my finger, the red balance, you see how everything just went really red? But if I stick my pasty fingers in the way, everything looks, yeah, that looks about right. That's what things are supposed to actually look like. All right. And I gotta get around that other little grav pad. Yep. There we go. Now we're talking. I gotta get up on that rock. I gotta get towards the rear of the base. Everywhere you base stuff always has its own pain in the ass, man. I'm making a mess, but I can just hit this all with more sand in a moment, so I'm not super worried about it. But yeah, you remember how I said not a pro? There you go. Not a pro painter, not a pro not a pro player. I don't know what I'm doing. I can barely run a camera. Just a nerd with a video camera and a microphone. Let's see. Stick this in there. It's like I never made a mistake. You never know. Silly question. Is there a world where you don't know? There's no world where you don't take that 5-point upgrade. Maybe if they made it a 20-point upgrade, you'd be like, nope. But if that, like, no, that is an amazing 5-point upgrade. Like, imagine that if, like, you just had intercessors as Space Marines. And you're like, hey, for 5 points, you can just ignore the first damage that you ever take on your basic ass troops. Would you be like, nah, I don't want that? Yeah, you'd be like, fuck yeah, I want that. That's amazing. No, there's no world where I don't pay the 5 points. Even if the rest of that stat sheet was garbage, I would pay the 5 bucks. Ocho, what up, man? Are you here to tell me I should put more LEDs and stuff? Because, like, I already feel that pressure, man. I already feel it. Like, you don't need to hurt me anymore. Okay? You've hurt me enough. Also, I like that on the Sylvie cam you can hardly even see her anymore because she has slid so far down in her cat little bed that she's there. I promise. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna take a moment to actually do some education before I just do this base. If you've ever used like sandy bases before, these things are a pain in the ass. Like, as time goes on, the grit falls off. It slowly makes your like display case a nightmare. If you ever transport them everywhere, every bounce on your car like slowly shakes that crap off of there. So what you can buy is there's this stuff called scenic glue, or sorry, scenic cement. A whole bunch of the guys that do like railroad stuff, or they do like World War II dioramas, LEDs on Sylvie. She's got enough problems, man. She doesn't need some surgery. So what this stuff really is, I just found this out. I bought this bottle like 8 years ago for D&D stuff. This stuff is a basically 4-to-1 Mod Podge to water ratio, and they'll charge you like $25 for a bottle. But what it is it's PVA glue that is like super watered down. And so what you can do is you take a little pipette, and because it's so watery, it has a low surface tension. So it'll get into every nook and cranny and pore of your dust. So like my Mars bases here. Let me get a pipette. There we go. So you just take a little like pipette, you suck it in there. Delicious. And then you just drop it in there, and it starts to seep into all of your base, all this dust. And then you just leave it to dry just for like an hour, maybe 2 hours. And none of this stuff will ever move ever again. Yes, it's Elmer's glue and water. No joke. I bought this stuff a long time ago, before I realized what PVA even meant. In fact, I don't know what PVA means. I know that it's white glue, but I don't know what it stands for. I'm sure most of you know. But anyway, you just spray this all over your base, just in a little layer. And then all you do is you set this thing aside and say, I'm not gonna really mess with this all night. And you're gonna wake up in the morning, and it'll be all dry, and it'll hold everything in place. And you'll never need to worry about any of this little red crap that's on my green little mat ever again. Yes, so Ocho's right. That is also another thing. So I learned about some stuff called wet water, which is a stupid name, because we all know water is already wet. But what they do is they add a little bit of liquid, like laundry, or not laundry, dishwasher soap to like a big bottle of water. And what that soap does is it breaks down the surface tension of the water. It lets it seep into everything, right? And then when you hit it with glue later, because it's already all that surface tension is broken, the glue won't stick on top. It'll seep in, right? And so it's the same thing, effectively. Yeah, I don't know. Do fish say water is wet? Do you know a fish? Maybe you can ask a fish, because I'm not a fish. Do I say air is airy? I don't know. I don't. I live in air. Need to try that on my crushed leaves. Yes. Anything at all that you have that's on your base, or I'd even say on your model, if you don't mind a little PVA layer, that could easily pop off. You probably want to actually buy or make this stuff. I don't know. Buy it if you're lazy. It's like $25 for what was this, a 250 milliliter bottle? Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't $25. It was $6.99. It's even right here. $7 for this. I'd rather just pay for that than actually make it, because then I know it's in the right amounts. And I don't trust myself to actually measure stuff, except if I'm making cocktails. So if they hit a wall, they say, damn. I think Ocho is. Are any of the rest of you old enough to remember the Beavis and Butthead movie? The like original one, not the one that came out 6 months ago? And they go to the Hoover Dam. And then Beavis is like, oh, and the tour guide is like, this is the biggest dam in the world. Ask all the damn questions you want. And then Beavis goes, is this a goddamn? I thought it was funny. But I thought Beavis and Butthead was funny, so now you know the extent of my humor. It's all butt jokes. All of it. In fact, if I may, if I hold this like Pioneer upright, and I show you its vague silhouette, what does that look like to you? I mean, I'm just saying, kind of looks like a dick. I didn't make these, but there you are. So another reason to love the League of Votan right there. It's just penises, as far as the eye can see. Which will never not be funny to me. So, I am an 11-year-old trapped in a nearly 40-year-old body. So, to me, this is just grandiose. Super into it. Ocho, what have you stuck 47 LEDs on lately? I think I saw you did a gosh, in my Discord you threw in what? What'd you put in there? Was it more plasma inceptor? Ah, no, it was an Inquisitor. God, that guy's plasma gun is as big as oh, it's an Acolyte. Okay. Are you gonna run it as an Inquisitor or still gonna run it as an Acolyte? It has a plasma pistol, so. Or is that a plasma rifle? It's almost as big as the model is, which in the 40k universe doesn't actually tell you much. Alright, I gotta actually pay attention for a second. Can't just slap glue on stuff and watch chat. Boo. Oh my gosh. Can you guys actually see what I'm doing? No, you can't. Of course not. Erasmus? What's Erasmus? Is that one of those weird imp guard things you do? Imp guard, is it a weird imp guard flyer that like nobody's heard of for 15 years and like no one's run for 20 years? Special. Oh, I actually have one of those on my shelf right behind me. But you like how I like made that really personal? I really made that an attack. Yeah, that was fun. I was gonna run one of those in my Grey Knights to just to do mental interrogation, and then summer happened, and I was so busy doing stuff that I couldn't play this game anymore. Hope that's coming to an end soon. So everybody's all stuck indoors now. Oh, it's so cold. Thanksgiving's coming. Well, I'm hoping that means I can play more 40k. Yeah, that's a pretty sweet model. I also for my Warhammer Plus anniversary, I bought the orc, or I got the orc. I guess I bought the orc. Yeah. And then I was gonna give it to my buddy Zach, who plays orcs, but then I discovered he already got the same model, so now I just have an orc model that I have to build and paint now. So Paladin's asking, are the Hearthguard worth it for 45 points? No. That is Grey Knight Paladin territory for price. And I don't think that they're, maybe in a niche build that I don't see right now. Like if you try to do the old Lawrence Baker 20 Paladin bomb, but with 20 Hearthguard, maybe you can make that work. In Ymir running Ion, or I'm sorry, you can't run Ion with them. They're all Vulcanite or Plasma. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't think at 45 points they're worth it. At 35 they were. To run like 5 to 8, I thought was like a good sweet spot. To just do an alpha strike unit that would come down, blow something away, maybe charge it, because a 9-inch charge still sucks, and there's no way for squats to make that easier, other than a special custom league where you get +2 to charge, which is pretty niche. So I don't know. Maybe there's something somebody sees that I don't, but I don't think they're really worth it for 45 points a piece. Even a 5-man. There's just so much other good stuff, man. Like those bikes, 35 points. Just run 18 of those fuckers. Run 3 6-mans. They're OBSEC. They have way better shooting than an Outrider, which is the same price. The only thing they have less than an Outrider is they have 1 less wound a piece, but their shooting's way better. If you put upgrades on them, they can put like judgment tokens and stuff. They can ignore dense cover. They can get rerolls even from 24 inches away. There's no reason to not run at least 12 bikes. Like 1 6-man and 2 3-mans, I think, are like a minimum. Because like that 6-man can run up the board, do R&D, you spend 1 command point to go back into reserves, they come back the next turn, do that again, and then with judgment tokens, they can do so much fucking damage. I watched a Art of War stream the other day where a 6-man bike team killed a falcon and everything that popped out of it. I'm sorry, they can't actually do that on the same turn, but they could, but they wiped out what like popped out of it the next turn. It was silly. Like a whole falcon? Falcon's T7. 13 wounds, 12 wounds, 13 wounds, something like that. It's basically a rhino, and they popped it with no problem. And that was with one judgment token. That's bonkers. Outriders can't fucking do that. I agree, though. Those Hearthguard models are the best models in the entire army lineup, and they are so expensive now that they're not even really worth running. IMO. In a competitive scene. If you want to play Crusade or whatever, or just go goofy stuff, I think that they're fine. But they're such cool models, and they've already made it where you're like, I don't want to like shoehorn these into anything, right? Maybe if the land fortress keeps like taking enough punches right in the face, I could see running 5 or 6 Hearthguard. But as it is right now, I don't see it. Because 5 or 10 of them now are 450 points, and you just run another land fortress. Which is arguably better. And the more land fortresses you have, you know, like one of them is like, okay, I target that down. It's kind of like bringing like Mortarion or Magnus. You're like, okay, those are a huge bit of their points. If I can kill that on turn 1, or mostly kill on turn 1, then they're down a whole lot of points when I like finish it off on turn 2, right? You can feel really good if you kill Morty on turn 2. But if you have 2 land fortresses, they kill one. It's like, well, shit, I have to go kill another now. And like killing the first one sucked. Now there's another? Yeah. I wish the Hearthguard were better, but they're not. Not at 45 points apiece. I don't think it's there. But the model's dope. I had one over here that I just painted with some battle damage. I think it like looked really, really good, but I don't actually see it here now. So, boo. 4 tank commanders can easily take it down. That is true. Although, Ocho, I haven't been tracking any of the Imp Guard leaks at all. I saw some Trader Guard stuff. Like, maybe they'll get their own portion of the book and all that, but, like, tell us a little bit, man. I don't know anything about any of the Imp Guard leaks. Or, sorry, Astra Militarum. I guess they're, like, no longer the Imperial Guard. Do some more of that scenic cement. No, it's Guard. Good man. Good man. I knew I always liked you. I'm planning on coming back up to Waystone soon, by the way. Zach will probably join me. I want to bring my demons and play Stefan again. I think that'll be really fun, even though I've never played my demons and I don't know how to play them, and the list I have is not competitive at all. I think it'll be a fun time. I mean, playing with y'all is always a great time anyway. So. Oh yeah, I made a mess. That's way more than you need, by the way. You do not need that much. I could probably pour some out. Yeah, there we go. Rough Riders, new big tank. New big tank? What's the new, like, this gonna be a brand new big ass tank? Man, you guys are gonna make me go play a fucking another army, because if I was gonna play guard, I definitely have to bring as many goddamn vehicles as possible. Like, what is the point of playing like anything else as guard? It's all about tanks, man. Many tanks as you can bring. Like, Patton's like third army. Let's go. Let's fuck some shit up. Be a shame if I shot your one intercessor with this Vanquisher cannon because it has nothing else to shoot. Nice. Good reference. Yeah, I wonder how much of those leaks are actually real leaks versus Games Workshop just leaking stuff, right? Oh, Dorn might actually come out as the next Primarch? Is that for, I mean, obviously it's just for the heresy. Which Primarch you think is coming back next for 40k though? Is it the Lion? I think it's the Lion. I would like it to be like the Dark Angels are that chapter I really want to like, but I can't. But I really want to, but I can't. You know, no name on that tank, really. So they're just all right. So is this a rumor or is this a leak then? I'm not calling your character into question. I'm just curious. Although, if I go back up there and only Garrett's buying me drinks, I will call your character into question. Oh, the tank name is Rogaldorn. Okay, I see. I got you. Fucking text, man. Zach! Zach, my man, I haven't seen you since I played you with my green ice against your Votan. And then I won only because we forgot a whole bunch of your rules. I don't think I would have won if we remembered that you get a whole bunch more AP at minimum or at half range. Don't think I would have won that. All those Magna rails like would have gone right through. Even with my sweet 6 up saves, they would have gone right through. Yeah, fun times. All right. I'm not. Don't do what I'm actually doing, kids. Like butter, you got it. Even with AOC, would have gone right through. Well, your list would have been illegal now anyway, man. Which we already talked about a little bit. All of my Hearthguard are gone out of my list now. I had to downgrade my Sagittars from the Beamers to just the regular autocannons, and then after that, nothing out of my list changed, actually. That was exactly 2,000 points still, so... The tournament? What tournament? Wait, there's a tournament up there? This isn't like a Seattle GT thing. This is like a... Oh yeah, I'm always leaking, man. Always. Tell me about that tournament, because Zach and I, like, we're both like middle-aged men with great jobs, and we can just take time off, so... Been too busy snorkeling? Is it like a sex joke? I don't know. Or are you literally snorkeling? Oh, you're in Hawaii right now? Why the fuck are you talking to me? Go. It's probably still light there right now, man. Go. Just fuck off. Go do stuff. You're gonna come to my stream right now to talk to me when you're in Hawaii with your wife. That's what I thought. I thought it was a euphemism. A euphemism. Of the English. Sunset happened. Did you sit on the beach and watch it with your wife? And did you hold her hand? Family's the most important thing, bro. Better than Warhammer. Eagerly awaiting a response. If anybody's bored, here's the Sylvie cam right over here. So sweet. He gets your stream in Hawaii. Seems good. Yeah, I guess I can't be too mad that he decided to spend his precious few free moments in Hawaii with me. To me, family is more important than 40K, yes. If you have a shitty family, though, personal decision. Crotch goblins to sleep. Man, I called a friend's kid a crotch goblin once, and she got real mad at me, which only made it more funny to me and made me want to do it more. So, you know, so I'm just I'm just an 11-year-old in a 40-year-old man's body, so. Oh, there's also a Loken. So this is now a Loken cam. There you go. He's stretching right now because he had a real hard day trolling everybody and being an asshole. Right, Loken? Loken? No? Okay. Yeah, fuck you, buddy. Yeah, I don't know why, like, I don't know. Folks get mad at the dumbest shit, so whatever. It's like, yes, your A parent, yes, I know that's hard. No, like, you know, I'm not trying to like belittle your choice, but you realize billions of other people have already done this and not fucked it up too badly, right? Like, like come on. Back to drinking. There you go, Zach. I will talk to you later, my man. Later, man. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do next is I have these little guys, these Hearthkin warriors. They're so cute. And on some of them, I don't know if that's gonna auto. There it goes. All right, so as you can see, I've done a little bit of chip damage on these guys already. And I'm gonna do that on all the rest of them. I've only done it on 3 of them. So there are a lot to go still. That's what I'm gonna do. And I think all my model holders are in their garage, so I'm just gonna live with it, and I'm gonna do it by hand. Doot doot. I don't want this. If you haven't, I'm not trying to make everybody like run out and buy a whole bunch of stuff, but if you haven't bought these are like reverse tweezers. So you pinch them to open them, and they stay pinched and closed if you don't. This is so nice for using sponges because you can slice these things down to like nothing. Right? You slice them down to like a little pad, and then stick it in here, and then you have so much real estate to actually grip this with and get in there and like get exactly where you want. If you have like an extra 12 bucks, I think these come in a set of just tweezers, and it's one of the 3 or something, and they're fucking worth it. Otherwise, you can just tape them up, right? Like you can like take a normal pair and just kind of tape them. But I'm a bougie bitch, so I think these are great. All right, and I used Morphang Brown for these before. Way cheaper. Look for third hand. Hey, Ken, what's up? I am still around. I'm really sorry. I've been kind of radio silent lately. I actually recorded my last of the 8th Brotherhood redesign videos just the other day, and then I watched it the day after, and I was like, holy shit, I was drunk when I recorded this. I'm slurring my speech. It's not good. So I have to re-record it. I had a little too much fun before I recorded it, so yeah. So we got that. By the way, if anybody has any ideas about what maybe a cool Grey Knights Army of Renown would be like, I know what they're probably gonna actually release is the 3rd Brotherhood, and they're gonna do some like crazy shit there. But what I want is I want to base an entire Army of Renown around the army or the Honored Knight keyword. I think that'd be really cool. Like Drago pops in, and then any Honor Knights you add get OBSEC or like whatever. That's kind of where my like original headspace is at. But an Army of Renown is a big design problem, right? Like they're gonna have to have like strats that are specific to them and all that. So like I'm kind of like not 100% sure where I want to go with that. So if you have any ideas, throw it in here. Ceramic. You can just get them way. Oh yeah. I don't know if they're ceramic. I don't think so. They're just like metal and plastic. I don't know why you're asking ceramic. I think there are 12 bucks for 3 of these, and I have like a whole bunch now. I buy a lot of dumb shit on Amazon. Okay, don't judge me, or do. I don't care. Ah, Star Wars Legion. Very cool. Yeah. God, I have a whole Fire Slayers army. I have like 1,500 points of Fire Slayers. Haven't built them yet. So if I haven't built AOS yet, I know I'm not going to build Star Wars Legion as much as I am a giant Star Wars dork. Giant Star Wars dork. I probably will never play Star Wars Legions, which is unfortunate. Yeah, Sylvie is really doing better. For those of you that don't know, she got a diagnosis of FIP about a month ago, and our vet said it was terminal, and we should consider like putting her down in about a month, which would be about now. But we found out that there is actually treatment. It's just not FDA approved, so our vet can't like suggest it. And she's doing great. It involves a shitty injection every day that she's not a fan of, but like her blood work already looks better. She's bouncing back. She's like back. She is back to being herself. She isn't even 2 years old yet, and so to be told that she was gonna die really sucked. I'll be right back. I have to grab some more Fang Brown, and then I'll start doing some combat damage. Bada boom, here we are. All right. I'm just I think I actually use Rhinox hide. It's a much darker, like deeper brown, so pretty sure that's what I use. I got this bike here, which looks like I did this little bit of combat damage here. I don't know if it's really showing up well on the camera, but I did a little bit of like Rhinox hide, and then a little bit of the Monument Hobbies Dark Silver. I mean, you'll know I'm gay for Monument Hobbies, so I love their stuff. So good. But I need to like focus more on where that would actually happen. So obviously the like front of these would probably get a lot of damage, right? Which I did kind of, but I like focused it on the left side for some reason. And then the undercarriage would probably have a lot more, but I didn't do that on this one. But you know, you live and learn. Yeah, FDA approved for animals is a thing. It's stupid, but it's a thing. Like a lot of the drugs that humans eventually get, we all know that they're actually like tested on animals. And this treatment that was done for FIP, it was actually started because FIP is a coronavirus. It's not COVID-19, but it is one. It was originally used to do. It was originally being investigated for a COVID-19 treatment, and then they discovered it was really good against FIP. So they're going through trials and stuff, trying to like. Anyway, it's a whole thing. I don't want to bore everybody or like make anyone sad. She's doing great. She's kicking ass. And I'm very happy that we actually found this out. So that's it. Just gonna grab a little more Fang Brown here. Put it off on this. Basically dry brushing now. I think this is actually the MedPack backpack. Let's see if we get that auto zoom. They just updated it, but it's not working very. There it goes. I think this is the MedPack backpack. I didn't know that because it's not very well labeled in the bag. So in the bag, in the box. I'm sorry, in the box. It's not really well labeled what is what. So anyway, let me get some light down on here. Let me see if that's offensive or not. No, it looks good. It looks good. All right, here we go. Just want to hit those armor panels just a tiny bit. I don't want to go whoop, too crazy like that. Just want to look like they've been out there fighting nids and other horrible shit for a while. But mainly on the armor, right? Like, I'm gonna paint everything else. Oh, man, this just isn't auto focusing well at all. Yeah, so I got these little marks here. I don't want to do it on the cloth. They just they just repair their pants or replace them. So I'm not gonna do a whole lot of that, but this is all I'm gonna do. Gonna hit armor panels a little bit. Yeah, looks good. These little armors on the hips, groin. Got the backpack, of course. They've been in a meteor storm or something. I don't know what you're gonna have to deal with out there, but it probably sucks, so. Alright. Bada boom. Also, I love these designs here where they added. Alright. So you got the. Damn it. Come on, adjust. Come on, fancy ass camera. You're supposed to be all cool. Come on. No? Oh, so frustrating. Maybe I'll hold it from the back. Oh, this is driving me bonkers. Come on. Well, anyway, so squats are obviously bulky, right? They're short, they're wide, they're squat. But these ones that they have it where they're kind of spread out more, like they're not their weapon isn't right out in front of them. They have their arm out, right? They've got this like big backpack on the back with these cool sensors and stuff. They look so good. They have so much like little detail, and I'm a big fan. I think it just looks. Gosh, This is the kind of stuff that makes me not actually hobby stream. Is this like stupid? It won't autofocus. Stuff is gnarly and it drives me crazy. Let me see if I can't make it autofocus with a command or something. My software is up to date. Thank you for sending me a notification to let me know that. That's super helpful. Nope, I can't make it autofocus while it's being used by another program. So that's cool. I didn't add all the pouches. I had set them aside, but then after building 20 of the things, I just forgot. So now I have more of the pouches for the next set. I guess that's a bonus. Yeah, okay. Next hobby stream, I'm going back to grabbing my fancy camera, like pulling that off the wall and making that actually work the way it's supposed to, because it looks better. It's just such a pain in the butt to actually set up. So, all right, let's do a little damage, not too much. Just make the armor look lived in, right? This guy's already done. That guy's already done. But none of the rest of them. And like on these tiny models, I've kind of been learning the hard way that less is more. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you don't want to overdo it. Then it just looks ridiculous. So, just a little bit where it adds a little bit of like visual interest. But if you do it too much, it just looks really busy, and then it actually detracts instead of adds to it. You just want to do a little bit. I thought about adding all the fancy grenade stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I was tired or something when I was making these, so forgot. But all these guys that are like, they're like looking down at their scanners, their wristwatches, whatever. They look so good. Like their weapons way down at their side. Oh, it really gives you a great look at their armor, their backpack. I mean, not that you can really see that here with my fucking camera, but I really, really like it. As that visual interest I was talking about. Oh, this guy's already done. Almost stuck more on him. That would have been bad. I also like that, like, some of these guys have thigh armor and some of them don't. I don't know. I think this is a really great sculpt from the old GW. Everything's just a little different. Everything's got a little bit different, like, you know, yeah, like design. I think it's a little weird. They all have carabiners, but then like there's no flyer for them to rappel out of or anything. Like there's no, like there's none of that stuff. But they all have carabiners, so watch out because they can rappel really fast. Ocho, are you still there, my man? Just want to ask you what you're working on next. Like, what's your next big vehicle project? So Ocho adds like LEDs to everything. What did you say you're maybe in the future? Need that 40K blimp? That would be awesome. Just like um uh just make them the Caradon overlords of 40K. Just like allow to use those models. Like don't even hide it. Just be like, yeah, that's fine. They're the same thing. I don't know why I'm doing the backpack of this guy because I'm just gonna paint the whole thing anyway. But I started to. Look at those wristbands. absolutely love, yeah, an AC-130U would be no joke. Be like, oh hey, especially if they got judgment tokens. You, just that'd be pretty cool. Cause you could do like you could actually do an AC-130U and then just kind of give it that like NASA punk, like that B, what is it? B, not the B-25. What was the Cold War era long range bomber? The B-28? It had that like bubble canopy. It looks like the same canopies from the land fortress and stuff. Like you could basically just make that and say, oh yeah, this is a squat vehicle now. I think it's a B-28. I don't remember. I have too much paint. But that would be cool. A whole, I mean, we already have a faction that kind of just does long range arty and air support though. That's the Imp Guard, so I don't want to steal from their like thunder too much, but I think that'd be really neat if they had some kind of viable air support option. Because they're very pragmatic, so it makes sense, but then again, like Deathwatch is also super pragmatic. I don't know. It's like you can make an in-game like justification for anything. So dual mounted Mail turrets. Here come vehicle or here come aircraft again. Like you can't hide from them because they'll just fly behind your obscuring. Yeah, gotta be careful. Gotta be careful from a game design standpoint. Obviously, in real war, there are no fucking fair fights. Like you, like you either win or you lose, hands down. But that does not make for a fun war game, right? Some of its hit pads here. Hit pads won't matter because I'm gonna paint those. There we go. Hit pads, perfect. A nerd can dream. Yeah. I mean, if you look at those flyers from AdMech before their nerf, they were already so strong. And those didn't bring AC 130U like levels of power to the game, so yeah. Gotta be careful. My dad was actually in Vietnam when they were doing the CH-47s. Yeah, I think that's right. With the pre the spookies. It's the precursor to the AC 130s. But now they are retrofitting AC or they are retrofitting C130s to do all kinds of stuff. Like they have a whole missile mount like system now where they replace half of the cargo hold with a missile rack basically, and it fires out the side door that you would jump out of if you were a paratrooper. And it just like launches missiles like one after the other after the other after the other. And it's all like, how do we make our aging crazy aircraft like kind of worth a shit? or our like cargo planes, which aren't even supposed to be made to do that that kind of thing. What if they call that? It's cool though. If any of you guys read sci-fi, I actually just finished the Frontline series, and it's about aliens that humanity runs into, but they aren't like intelligent or humanoid. I mean, they are, but it's not like what you think of, where it's like another humanoid race. They're all these giant fucking dinosaur lizard things, and they're all like 30 meters tall. And they fly in these giant ass like ships that are all made from like chitin and stuff. It's all like biological kind of equipment. Um, and they do a really good job of 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 like playing up how they're so alien we can't talk to them. We don't know how they communicate. We don't know how any of their like technology works. Um, so they're always all throughout eight books they are alien. Like we don't understand shit about them. What their motivations are. It's fascinating. It's a really really great read. Highly recommended by Mark Kloos, Kloos, I think. Really good. Gotta do that battle damage on the front of these little grav pads and stuff, because you're gonna get hit by gravel and everything as you're riding towards the enemy. Man, that really does add a lot. Like a lot. I don't know, guys. I'm really sorry about my stupid camera, but man, this thing is like driving me bonkers. Um, I'm convinced that at this point I should just switch cameras. Actually, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just because I'm gonna be up for probably another hour anyway, so I might as well just switch cameras. Do. This one. Let's just Oh, hi Loken. What's up, buddy? Yeah, you're being super cute now. Probably because you want food. Not that one. What do I want to make go away? This one. This one. This one. This one. That one. Yay! There we go. All right, so now I can be like, you guys like this? What do you think of my paint job? Tell me how great I am. So cool. All right, so, like I was saying, this little like battle damage really adds a lot. It's not a ton, and once I actually paint everything else, so all the leather is brown and like the weapons are silver and all that, it won't stand out quite so much. Like as it does right now, it kind of looks like a punch like right in the face. But when I'm done painting all this, it'll kind of blend in. And what I'm gonna do is once I'm done with the brown, I'm gonna go over it with a little bit of like silver, like some lead belcher, or the Monument Hobbies Pro Acryl silver, and I'm gonna go over those same spots again, but I'm gonna go over them even more lightly. So like you'll have some brown spots, and then inside of those brown spots, there's some like slight silver spots, and so as the light hits it, it just pops like it. And this step takes no time at all. You don't have to do much. You can be half drunk like I am right now. And you can't really mess it up as long as you're kind of thinking about where you're going to put the sponge next. So Highly recommended. If you are, unless you're like, so my Grey Knights, I paint them like they have never been touched. I paint them like they are pure, unadulterated, like they come back from every mission, and you know, as we know from all the stories and stuff, like they anoint their armor again and they do all this crazy stuff, and they like really really care for like all their armor. So I don't do that with my Grey Knights, but for these guys, like they're out in the middle of nowhere for years. Years. They probably don't have like a lot of supply. If they do, they're probably not like, let's bring along paint, right? Like, let's bring more ammo, you know? Let's think this through logically. So these guys get some little dirt and debris, specks and particles. For the most part, I'm avoiding the riders and stuff just because I'm gonna paint over all of their stuff again anyway, except their armor. But like all the cloth, all the like view screens, all that stuff, I'm not gonna do any battle damage on that because it's completely wasted. Red versus blue logic. You know, if you have a plane that can carry a tank, why not just put guns on the plane instead? I mean, we all know that. Like, you can't hold the ground with an aircraft. At the end of the day, saying this is an infantryman, you can't really hold it with a tank either. But a tank is better at it than a plane is. So that's why we had the, like, was it the Sheridan? Was that the 1950s tank that they could put one in a plane or whatever? And its main gun could also fire a precursor to the tow missile or whatever. That was pretty cool. I don't think those things actually worked very well though, because it was the 1950s. It's not latency. I just didn't respond because I was on my own little side discussion. Sorry. I try to answer those straight away, but like sometimes I'm stuck in my own little world. Oh gosh. I don't know if anybody's looked either, but if you are a Votan player, I almost said a Voltron player. If you are a Votan player, and you're trying to buy models off eBay right now, I hope you saved your money. That shit's no joke. I think, actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, what is one... Someone go look up what 3 Outriders cost. I might have gotten a good deal. So for 3 Pioneers, I paid $53 with free shipping earlier, and I bought 2 sets. So I'm wondering... Oh, that's why you were asking, is it ceramic? I don't know. Honestly, like, a lot of that technological stuff is kind of like hand waved. I think they say the Space Marine stuff is like a it's a composite. God, what are they? It's a like ceramite, which sounds like ceramic, right? And then they just add on mite on there, which makes it sound like, I don't know, it's cooler than it is. I don't. None of this stuff in like 40K makes sense, right? Because if you're talking realistically, any single culture capable of traveling faster than light is so far beyond our understanding of what they are and what they can do and what their technological level is that it's like insane to even consider talking about. So our idea of what sci-fi is entirely like us trying to make personal stories, which is everything we've ever known. If you look at like Beowulf all the way down through like modern era, right? Like a story isn't really about a starcraft or an aircraft or a tank. It's about the people inside of it. So I don't know. Yeah, so I actually got 3 things better than Outriders for like $53. So I don't know. Maybe I saved money. I don't know. I'm okay with that. I guess that's a long-winded way of me kind of saying like, as long as it sounds reasonably believable, I don't really. Oh, I see what you say. All right, I see what you're saying. Okay, so for painting, you want to know: is it metallic? Is it matte? Is it whatever? Well, here's the thing about paint. If you take aluminum, you paint it matte black, it's matte black. Take aluminum, you paint it with radar absorbent materials, RAM. Now it absorbs radar. So, like again, it doesn't. I don't know, man. It's hard to quantify that stuff. And if you want to dig deep into it, that's completely cool. Like I'm not trying to like harsh your mellow. I think you should think of your army more as like a manifestation of what you want it to be. So, for instance, if I was going to make an Ultramarines army, right, I would make them fuck off blue and bright ass gold and just obnoxious. But if I was going to do a Raptors army, same models, I would do them in subdued OD green and black. End of story. Right? Like, if you paint with RAM, does it run faster? No, but it hits things harder. Huh? No? I don't know. Like so for my squats, I purposefully did not pick, even though the Ursa color scheme called to me with all those greens, like that OD green and stuff. I almost painted something like it before they released what the color scheme was. I picked yellow because I considered it an interesting painting challenge, because yellow's a bitch to paint. And I've seen yellow armies that stand out and they look so good. So good. What's up, Sindri? I was talking about you earlier, man. He actually gave me the idea. Or was it Lexi? Yeah, was it Lexi? Anyway, we were talking in the NoobHammer hobby channel about doing a hobby stream, and then I realized like tonight would actually be a great night. So here we are. Probably Lexi. But you did make fun of me for not lasting long with my wife, which was great. So keep that up, I guess. Keep making me feel bad about myself. I don't know. Next month we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary, so I can't be doing that bad. Or maybe she has a side hoe. I don't know. I try to please. All right. So if you're looking at the thing straight on, it's coming at you. Where do I want all this battle damage? I guess. guess I want it mostly on the front areas. On the rider's armor, on the little roll bar. It's got like hips. I'm gonna call them hips. It's not really hips, but oh yeah. Yeah, looks good. Yeah. A little bit on this shoulder pad. Beautiful. See, that looks good. If it ever auto adjusts. Why am I having so many problems with the auto adjust? There it goes. You see? And that took like no time. Got a little too overzealous up in here. But otherwise, not too bad. So let me ask, being new to Warhammer, if I want to build Thurian, white and green, but want to paint it with, oh no, you can do, no, I have never been to an event ever where anybody has ever given a shit what it actually looks like. As long as you go up to the table, right, and your opponent is probably going to actually have like looked you up and they're going to know, okay, I'm like fighting Ultramarines, right? But if you drop your army on the table and it's all painted in like pink and white or whatever, they're going to already know you're playing Ultramarines. So it doesn't matter what you painted it as. So like I'm going to run these guys who are bright yellow as Ymir, but the Ymir color scheme is red and black. But I'm going to drop them on there and I'm going to be like, hey, this is Ymir, and then my opponent's already going to know what that is. Or if I change to Greater Arthurian League later, I don't have to repaint my whole army. I can just tell them, like, this is Greater Arthurian League. And then they'll be like, oh, what does that mean? And then you can kind of tell them about what that makes, like, how that makes them slightly different from other Votan. It's the same thing, like, I've seen Grey Knights, like, there's, so Jed is a really good Grey Knight player in my area, and he's actually slowly converting all of his Grey Knights over to being orcs. So they're gonna have like rusted armor and like orc heads, and he's gonna have some orc bits on like his Dread Knights and stuff. It doesn't matter. Everybody knows they're Grey Knights. And like Grey Knights are even more ridiculous because they have 8 brotherhoods, but all their brotherhoods have the same color scheme. But you could paint them rainbow if you wanted to, and everybody's gonna know, like, oh, I'm playing Grey Knights. Like, it doesn't matter. So go to town, man. Have fun with it. Just paint it whatever you want. It does not matter. I have not heard of a single event that is ever going to care what your army actually looks like, as long as it is A, consistent, or B, is at least easy to understand what it is. It gets more weird when you're talking about weapons. Like, if you're like, okay, I have 7 warrior squads, but 3 of them have this Magna Rail, but those ones are actually the conversion beamers, and the other 4 have the same model, but they don't have conversion beamers. They have the, I don't know, whatever other weapon. That's where things get weird. So modeling is more important than your color scheme. Go to town on your color scheme, man. Whatever you want. I know one of the guys that I actually interviewed who wanted GT, Evan Stump. That guy, he started playing Ultramarines like 15 years ago. And so he just started painting every Marine unit he ever bought as Ultramarines. So he has like Sanguinary Guard, which is a Blood Angels, painted as Ultramarines, because when he goes into a tournament and he wants to play Blood Angels and bring Sanguinary Guard, because that is a Blood Angel specific unit, he just drops it down on the table with the rest of his Ultramarine painted army. And that way he doesn't have to paint a whole bunch of crazy armies. He just has He has his Space Marines, which are all painted as Ultramarines. And then you can play them as Death Watch. You can play them as Ultramarines. You can play them as Blood Angels. You can play them as White Scars. Like, he doesn't care. They're all the same. And your opponent also knows, like, okay, I'm playing White Scars. It doesn't matter if they're painted blue and gold or white and red. So, yeah, Ocho, that is a whole different topic of conversation, which is absolutely bullshit, and those people ought to be ejected from the game. So, legit can't wait to paint the Land Fortress in wood and iron tones. Yeah, man, go insane. Go nuts. If you want to do yellow and orange, if you want to do red and black, like, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then if you want to run that same army as Ymir in one tournament and the next weekend turn around and run them as Greater Thurian League, nobody should give a shit. Even if you play the same player at the same tournament, as long as you explain, like, hey, I'm playing Greater Thurian League now. Like, they'll be like, okay, cool. I've never heard anybody care. And I played at LVO. Like, granted, not top table or whatever, but, like, you know, that is the Super Bowl of 40K, and nobody has given a shit. There will always be people out there playing to... you need to see those Orc Knights. Well, if you join my Discord, Jed will probably post them up on to the hobby channel. Otherwise, I don't know how I'm going to show them to anybody. That's the best way. There'll always be people out there who are willing to go ballistic over small things. Honestly, I haven't seen that. I've played in 3 different RTTs now, and I've played at LVO, and I've had one player where things were a little contentious, but when I talk to them, I realize it's because they're hard of hearing in a super loud concert hall. I have a stutter. And it was just like two beings that, once we explained each other's like problems, we're like, oh, okay, you know, and like things were fine. But at first it was a little contentious, like, why is this guy being a jerk? But it was just, he couldn't hear me, and I was having problems communicating with him. So, you know. Hey, what's up, man? Raven, didn't you move to the East Coast, dude? Been a long time. Raven, I used to LARP with way back when. So, back pre-pandemic. That's how long ago that was. If someone does care, buy them a couple drinks. Yeah, I don't know. I heard a lot of horror stories about like people in the game, but I think those are like people who bubble up to the surface. I have never, and I've done like pickup games at like local game stores where I've never met this opponent. I've never seen them again. Everybody's been cool. Everybody. The only times things have been weird are when, like, again, it was he had a disability, I have a disability, and those were just two disabilities that meshed in a really shitty way. And once we explained it, we just gave each other a little more time to understand what we were trying to say, and then everything was gold. So, I was actually kind of, I had a little anxiety when I went to my first RRTT because I thought like I'd run into a bunch of like douche nozzles. No, my first RTT was amazing. Um, I explained to every opponent who I ran into, like, hey, this is my like first tournament ever, and they were all so cool, so cool. Every single one of them, like, oh man, that's so nice. Like, great to meet you. Like, what do you think of it so far? Or, you know, and then I'd be like picking secondaries and they'd be like, hey man, I just want you to know, like, I understand your logic about how you did that, but against my army, I actually give up a lot of this. And then like, okay, I'll take that secondary. Like, honestly, just the coolest people. I got absolutely raffle stopped in my second game, my first RTT ever, by the nicest Black Templars player you will ever meet, this guy named Max. And he was actually like, at one point, like, I told him, I was like, my deployment game is probably the weakest part of my whole game, and he helped me deploy. And he explained why. He's like, okay, these are the units that you have. This is your range. This is my range. This is like what what's the Black Templar thing that they pick at the beginning? They're like schisms or whatever. Anyway, and he's like, this is what I'm gonna pick against you. So like I don't get cover, but I get a bonus to my saves, blah blah blah. Anyway, he was super fucking nice and he explained everything. And he still raffle stopped me, but he explained exactly like what he was doing and why. And then I explained what I was doing, and then he'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. You should totally do that. And he just kicked my ass. But it was great. It was really fun the whole time. So don't be afraid to go to a tournament. Everybody's chill, especially RTTs. Like most of the guys there are just there because it's the easiest way to get in 3 games in one day. Like they're trying wacky lists or they're doing goofy shit and they just want, or they just like want to meet people. GTs and stuff get a little crazier, but just go. Have a great time. It's like $15 usually for an RTT. Just go. A nice BT player, he shames us. Crazy, right? I have been well. Thank you much. Raven. Oh, guess who's back? Sylvie's back. Let me see if I can't get up the right. There she is. She's back. Well, she will sleep like this, by the way. She just passes out with like both arms out of her heated bed. She's really just having a terrible time. How's the east coast, Raven? Oh, we are talking about Warhammer 40K, man. That's why it's NoobHammer. I'm not great at this game, and it has hammer at the end, which is a thing we all do for some reason. Oh man, see, so this one I want to keep going, but I know I should stop. Like that's already a lot of battle damage, but I like want to just keep blabbing, and I'm just gonna not. You gotta know when to hold them. You gotta know when to fold them. What are you having problems with the Spartan, man? That's such a cool model. Did they give them updated 40K stats, or are they still just like 30? Are they 30K only? And I think Sindri's absolutely right. So they say that their experience is that everybody that they've played against just want to have fun at RTTs. I've had the same experience. Like people want to win, right? When I go into a game, I want to win, but I don't want to win so badly that I'm going to make the game A, shitty for the other player, or B, I'm going to cheat, right? Like I want to win, but I want to win within the confines of the game. That makes sense. So, like, I think that most people at RTT are that way. And once you get to like a certain skill level, I feel like players stop going to RTTs unless they're just going to play ridiculous lists that they're just having. Like, you're never going to run into Brad Chesser at an RTT unless a guy is bliss drunk and playing a weird list because he's there, again, just to have fun. And honestly, Brad is a great guy. If you ran into Brad in an RTT, you should enjoy that game because he will make it fun. He'll kick your ass, but he will make it fun. I have interviewed that man. I have gone drinking with that man, and he is super fun. So even the most competitive guys out there who are ranked unbelievably high are still some of the most fun people you'll ever play against ever. And those people will teach you about the game in ways that you have never thought about. My first game at LVO, I played my Grey Knights against Tau. Tau at the time still had their old codex. That was my first 100-point perfect game ever. I just trounced this guy. He was super nice, but I trounced him. My next game, because I scored so high, I got to go play Alex McDougall, who's an Art of War coach who loves Tyranids and Genestealer Cult, and he had just gotten his Genestealer Cult Codex like 3 weeks prior. And let me tell you, that guy pulled a 100-point game off of me, and he made it really fun the whole time. He was explaining exactly what he was doing, what he was targeting, why he was targeting it, what like stratagems he was gonna use. He was explaining like what I did well, what I did poorly. I basically got a coaching match for free. Like, amazing. I don't care about losing either as long as I've learned something. Like, you know, those old stories about being like leaf blower by what was it, 7th edition guard? Who are basically unstoppable. That's not fun. You can't learn anything from that. Like, oh, I learned that I got a bad matchup. That's a stupid thing to learn, right? But if, like, Alex was like, no, if you're playing against Genestealer cults with this list, this is what you ought to do. Like, I'm going to ignore your Dread Knights. I'm going to kill your troops. Your troops have OBSEC. Your fast, like, interceptors, they're what scare me. Your Dread Knights don't scare me. I'm going to, like, lose some cheap chaff, and I don't care. I'm going to kill you over time. I'm going to have a bad turn 1 and turn 2. My turn 3 will be okay, and my turn 4 and 5, I'm going to kick your ass. And once I started to realize like what he was talking about, it opened up a whole different level of the meta in my mind. And like those kinds of things you cannot get anywhere else unless you either pay for coaching or go to a tournament. Like, I highly recommend tournaments. And the team tournaments seem like so much fun. What yellow am I using? Okay, so I have a whole paint thing. This is a, and I'll go back through all the stuff later. So I'm priming in a pink. I picked the worst primer I've ever used in my life. I can only use about 1/4 of a cup out of my airbrush at a time before it clogs. And I have to actually fish out like whole pieces of like partially dried primer. And no matter how much thinner I add, it does that anyway. So don't buy that primer. I don't have it here with me in here right now, or I would actually tell you what. But anyway, I'm priming pink. From the bottom into the shadows, I'm then spraying a magenta, like a deep purple ink to get all of those like recesses. And then on the top, I spray a white ink. And then I just cover the whole thing with my airbrush with Imperial Fist fuck off yellow. Super bright yellow. It's ridiculous. The lighting in the camera doesn't really show off the gradient as well. Like up here, it's way brighter than it is in the middle. And then in the bottom, it does a pretty good job of like showing that it slowly goes to like an orange. It looks better in person. I'm sure everybody who streams says that, but like it does. That's my basic yellow. If you throw on a podcast or some music and your airbrush, I think I did 20 warriors, 18 bikers, and 2 sagittars in about an hour and a half. It's fast. It is so fast. Yes, it is the Contrast Imperial Fist Yellow. Contrast paints through an airbrush are like mind-blowingly good. Super good. I cannot explain to you how fucking good they are through an airbrush. They're good through a brush. They are way better through an airbrush. Like bonkers good. What's really nice about actually choosing that ultra bright, ridiculous yellow is I can grab any of the other yellow contrast paints because they're all darker, and I can use those as a recess like pin wash or like a recess shade almost. So I can grab like, what is it, Nazgul yellow? It's not actually Nazgul because that's Lord of the Rings, but it's anyway, there are a couple other yellows that I can use that'll actually make the whole model pop more. But if you look at, gosh, I hope this works. If you look at this guy, right? So you can really see how I hit him from the bottom with that pink. And then when the contrast hits him, it turns orange. And where the pink kind of like sat, it gets more orange. And so you kind of get this gradient over the whole model. Like, so the back of his what is his left pad there is orange because that's where the shade is. And it's just like a thing you can't really, I mean, you could probably do this with a brush, but you're going to spend like hours per model. This guy took me, I don't know, 5 minutes with an airbrush, and I'm not even kidding. Like once you get into a groove and you're just like spray, 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 and the next model spray, 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 and the next model spray, 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 and then you switch your color and you go back and you just do that again. The airbrush makes all this stuff so fast, and it makes me look like a fucking genius. But guys, I'm an idiot. I can't paint. I can't. But the airbrush makes it look like I can. I have no idea what I'm actually doing. I watched some like tutorials online. This one was from Goober Town Hobbies. And it makes me look like I know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing, guys. I don't even know why you're here right now. I'm just an idiot with a microphone and a camera who likes to talk while I paint. Oh yeah, it was a Naz drug yellow. Thank you. I only do the contrast. I have the contrast medium. Only used it with my brush. I find that with the airbrush, if you want to really adjust how much you're actually spraying onto there and how much brightness you get, it either has a lot to do with your base coat. So like they're all in my display case now, but when I did my Nurgle demons, I did the same kind of thing, but I did a brown base coat, and then I did a white highlight or like a white zenithal from the top that was really heavy. So most of the brown was almost entirely gone from the top of the model. I'm gonna use this as an like idea, but so I painted the whole model brown, right? I did a heavy white spray from the top of ink. I then hit it with various greens. I did some in Mantis Warrior Green. I did some in Plague Bear Flesh. And I did some in that like nasty ass like plague yellow, the like Idrian yellow. Um, and they catch the white and they saturate that white with their color, but the brown stays brown. It's so dark that the contrast paint can't, like, you don't see the contrast paint through the brown. So it gives you this like really deep shadow. It's great. And that's kind of what I did with the purple or with the pink and the purple here, is because the contrast yellow is so thin. God, what's the term I'm actually looking for? So yellow is heavy in pigment, but it's light in, I don't remember. Anyway, whatever you spray it over, kind of will shine through, right? So the pink turns orange, or the pink turns yellow, and the purple turns orange because you're spraying yellow over it. That makes sense. So yeah, when I first painted all of these things, I had a whole bunch of models on my table that were Pepto-Bismol pink. They were pink. They were like little girl clothing pink. Opacity, yes. They have a very low opacity but a high pigment. So, all right, I'm gonna go back and read everybody else's comments. Sorry. Squat's looking great. What yellow are you using? Honestly, don't care about losing. Yeah. I agree. As long as you had a fun match, and the best matches are when you either win or lose by like 1 or 2 points, right? Like anything less than like 10 points, that was a close game. That was a game you could have won if you did a couple things just slightly differently, and I love that. Love that. Live for that shit. So good. I had a very unfun game with one of those guys at an RTT last week. I explained how inexperienced I am. Oh, you have Death Watch. That's a hard army to play, man. That's a tough army to play. That is a lot of moving parts. He just treated me like a tournament winner and SeaWorld me and didn't explain everything. Well, I got super salty and bailed. Came back and learned more from the chat than I would have if I played out the game. So what do you mean by the chat? Like, was it live streamed or? Oh, from the chat from talking to him. Whoops. Yeah, I'm sorry. That sucks. I've never experienced that personally. I know I'm going to eventually. Like, that's the odds of the draw. You got that early, and I'm sorry. Everybody in my tournament scene is amazing, at least here in Portland. But yeah, I mean, all these people want to do is talk to you about 40K. Like, that's why they're there, right? It's a game that they love. They like put in time doing their modeling, their building, their painting, they're like list building, learning the rules, all that stuff. They've like spent time doing that, right? So all they want to do is talk to you about it. It's like I've never gone to a chess tournament. I'm not that smart. I'm not good at chess. But I bet you that if I did, those people just want to talk to you about chess, right? They love chess. They love it so much that they have come to a tournament about it, right? So, all right. You just treated me like a tournament. It is contrast yellow. IF, yep. High vis yellow on your squats. So it's the same thing I'm doing, basically. I also love the... there's an ink from Vallejo. Super good. Ultra vibrant. Inks can be super vibrant. Like, that's what an ink is. So if you just want to do your base coats other than your primer all with inks, completely doable. Yeah, iodine yellow is the one that I used on like some of my plague bearers. Highly recommended. It's great for pin washing. I know that's what everybody used for Imphis before the Fist yellow contrast paint was out. And like, I gotta tell you, the Imp Fist yellow is like yellow. If you went and found a toddler and told them to pull out a box of crayons and point at yellow, that's Imp Fist. It is yellow. It is super yellow. Have you added contrast medium? No, haven't. Still learning to use mine properly. Airbrush really, like, I watched probably 6 or 7 tutorials about airbrushing and like what PSI to use and blah 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 blah. And it really is like they all say the same thing. They say like learning to airbrush is an art, not a science. Like we can't tell you how to be good at airbrushing. That's absolutely true. I thought it was bullshit. Like I'm an engineer. So if you ever tell me anything is an art, I'm like, that's bullshit. Tell me like what you actually mean by that. But I think airbrushing really is. It's a lot of feel. Like how much you thin your paint is based on what's your barometric pressure in your garage. I don't know that. You're going to have to figure that out. Like how big is your needle? I don't know that. You're going to have to figure that out. So a lot of airbrushing is actually just figuring out your airbrush. Just spend an afternoon, know you're going to waste 3 hours just getting to know your airbrush, right? Like super good. Have you added contrast medium? Speaking of nurglings, so Ken sent me a whole bunch of old school pewter nurglings on bases. They're over there, not assembled yet because I'm afraid I can't do them justice yet. But they're all right there, right by that. Okay, this is a little weird because, but they're all right there in a big pile. I'm going to build them. I'm going to paint them. I wanted to get my nurgling recipe right on my cheap plastic ones before I use the nice pewter ones. But how many did you like send me, Ken? You must have sent me like 60 fucking nurglings. And when I say that, I don't mean like groups of nurglings like the new ones are. I mean like individual little nurglings. They're all like, you know, tiny little nurglings. How is Bellacore coming along? He's right here. I'm not done, obviously, but here he is. I got his body done. I need to dry brush his wings. They're obvious. And I just broke his sword, so that's cool. Gonna have to fix that now. I'm really happy with his base. I don't think it's great. I mean, it's no like golden demon, but it's good. And then like I gotta do all the metal and stuff. He's almost tournament ready. Definitely if I do another bat rep with Stefan up at One Less Blade in Seattle at Waystone Gaming, he will be ready to rock because he'll be my warlord. He'll be his stats are insane. Insanely good. You had literally zero interest in them until you got them for free. The airbrush, the squats, the contrast paints. And yes, you are right. We have a very small scene. So when people are dicks, they stand out. But the scene is changing too. It's both getting larger and the amount of people who are able to deal with that shit is lowering. So, and you see more tournaments where like you are voting in the best player, like the person you like to play with the most. And I think that those kinds of things are going to change the community a lot about like how you're going to play, how you're going to interact. I think that's all very important. And this is going to go quick tangent. This is gonna go back to what like Sindri, I think it was a Sindri, it might have been Ocho, was saying earlier, where like some guys got really weird about like paint jobs on World War II styled Imperial Guard armies. Like if you come to a table with me and you have your like Lehman Russes painted like Wehrmacht Tiger tanks and your infantry painted as Waffen SS, I'm fucking out of there. You're an asshole. I don't care if you're a historian. I'm not gonna fucking play you. I'm not gonna play anybody who like venerates Nazis in any way. It is fucking bullshit. And I'm out. And you don't even deserve a game. So I'm gonna report you to the fucking TO. I'm gonna take pictures of your army. I'm gonna lambaste you on social media. It is not okay. Not okay. I mean, you can make an argument that the Wehrmacht were just people fighting for their country. You can't make a fucking argument about the Waffen SS. No. Get the fuck out of here. That shit is just bonkers to me. All that shit from Spain last year. Woo! You! No. No thank you. Luckily, never run into any of that shit. Yeah. Apprehensive going to a GT because you think you'll run into too many of those guys? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think you're gonna run into too many of those guys. Really. I went to LVO. Granted, not a great player. I wasn't fighting against those people who really want to fucking win. I mean, Alex McDougal really wants to win. He came in 4th, actually. So I gave him his 100-point win to skyrocket him up to his, you know, like whatever. Anyway, the guy he came in 4th, maybe 5th, whatever. He came in, you know, there were 1,300 players there. He came in 4th or 5th. The guy trounced me. He still made it a really fun game. He taught me a lot. Just because you're winning doesn't mean like you have to be a dick, right? So, I mean, if you come to a game like this, you are entering into a social contract for at least 3 hours to make the game enjoyable for another person. Like, I think that's it's unsaid, but I think that's the way the game plays. Like you're there for 2.5 to 3 hours. This isn't like a 20-minute League of Legends game. This isn't a 15-minute like Counter-Strike match or whatever, right? Like this is a 3-hour game where you are one-on-one with another person. And I don't even know if these people have the facility to act like a dick for 3 hours. Right? That takes energy. It takes like a certain like je ne sais quoi to like want to be a dick for 3 hours, let alone 3 games in a row for an RTT or 5 games in a row for a GT. I don't have it in me to be a dick for 5 games. So I would start off with an RTT or 2, get to know your like local scene, because the people that play NRTTs, the like 70% of them are going to be the same people every time, which is not a bad thing. My point is, you're going to get to know those people. You're going to get to like them. You might even invite them over to your house for games in between like tournaments and stuff, right? So get to know them. And then when you're ready to go to that GT, like you can at least go with a group of friends. Or you can, at least if you go by yourself, you'll run into people that you know who are into the game as much as you are, and you've played before, right? So do that. I will get them painted. I will get them into games. I promise you. Whenever Stefan and I already have my Demons list picked out. It has a 3x3 group of Nurglings in it, and I promise you, when we are in stream, I will drop those Nurglings. I promise you. 2 or 3 boxes. Really? God, you give me so many Nurglings, man. Like I feel like like Nurgle has a permanent just foothold in my house now, just because of how many Nurglings you gave me. Um, Speaking of Stefan, found your yeah, cool. I love that guy. Is like genuinely an amazing dude. Like super nice, altruistic. When he started Waystone, it was the least surprising thing I'd ever heard in my life. Like I'm like, of course he's gonna make that, right? He's a nice guy. Thank you, thank you. I on Bellacore, I did. I wanted to go outside of my like comfort zone. All his shit is contrast paints. I don't like brushing contrast paints. I don't. So I painted him, or I primed him black. I then ink zenithal highlighted basically everything. So like on his knee pad here, you can just kind of make out where some of that black primer is kind of showing through. But otherwise, I did almost everything. Like I just sprayed the crap out of him in white ink, and I went to town with contrast paints. Um, I got a long way to go. There's so many little details on this model, and this isn't even the real Bellicore. Like this is just a really good 3D print. But that's not the real one. That's like $180 or like whatever, because I'm not made out of money. So you shouldn't run into. Yep, that's true. And yes, there are boundaries that should not be crossed, even in our weird little fascist fucking play game. Which like nobody can ever look you straight in the eye and say like, oh yeah, the Imperium are the good guys. Like no one's the good guys in 40K. That's one of the reasons I'm drawn to it. Is it's more realistic than that, right? It's not like the Avengers versus I don't know Thanos or whatever, who even then was kind of a gray, black, gray, white bad guy. He thought he was doing the right thing. Um, hey, Garrett, what's up, man? You probably joined in the middle of these fucking stupid rants of mine, so thank you. Um, you were forced to be friends with the crypto bro. Oh man, I am at work. I have been tasked lately with getting into a project about crypto, and like I can't like I'll do it. I'll do it to the best of my ability because that's my like professional job, but I can't like get into it. You know what I mean? It's all like like NFTs. I can't. It's just like I don't how do you monetize digital shit? I don't understand any of this. But whatever. Um, I'm not gonna grab any of the Magic decks. I played a little bit of Magic years ago, like 5, 6 years ago. Wasn't really my bag, but I think it's cool that 40K will be there. Um, but not my thing. Paladin, where are you at? Like, where are you generally located? Because if you're in the Pacific Northwest, you could totally hit up Waystone. That place is baller. Oh, and I see you joined my Discord. What up, man? Thanks for. Oh yeah, Iowa. Little too far to stop in for a quick game of 40K in Seattle. Oops. What am I? Which one is the Sylvican? Because she's gone now. There it is. Boom, gone. All right, I should get back to actually painting my stuff. I got all worked up about talking about tournaments because I really, really do think that if you are interested at all in competitive 40K in any way, even if you are just scared shitless, I think you should go to an RTT. Um, Hell, I even live casted the last one that I went to. I didn't play at all. I had a great time. Everybody was nice. The games were fun. The players were great. Like, cannot recommend RTTs enough. It's the best way to get in 3 games back to back I can possibly think of. Because my friends and I, we all get to just talking, and then nobody's getting through more than a game in like 5.5 hours. So, with that said, time to paint some more battle damage on these guys here. So, got 3 more. Do 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 do. Oh yeah, anybody into like synthwave or anything? Love that music style. I've been like really big into Gunship, and Magic Sword actually came and played at eBay when I worked there in Portland. That was dope. That was a great show. And they just played for like 12 of us, but they played their asses off. Awesome. Um, saw Carpenter Brut just a couple weeks ago with my wife. Awesome show. First concert I'd seen actually since COVID, which is a little weird. Because I was like, should I have my mask on? Like, what's going on? So many people here. Outcast a 40K game. Oh man, dude, Garrett, it was so much fun. Like, I don't even know what half of the armies did, but if you asked enough good questions, you could kind of understand what was going on. So it's like, oh, how fast do they move? Oh, they move like, you know, 14 inches. Okay, well, I know that's probably their scout unit or whatever. It was real, so it wasn't too bad from that regard. I'm always afraid of that stuff because there's always a bunch of nuance for every army that I'm always missing. I mean, there are still armies in the game I haven't played. I haven't played new Chaos Knights. I still haven't played Imp Guard at all ever. Haven't played Sisters since they got their 9th ed book. So Deathwatch comes in from top. We're up. Top rope. Oh, metal. Ooh, ooh. So Guar came to Portland like last night. I think a bunch of my friends went. I didn't even know they were there until I woke up this morning and I saw a bunch of my friends had already gone. I'm like, you motherfuckers! You go to Guar and you don't even let me know. But here we are. I did hear they've slowed down a lot though. They're like older men now, like they can't really keep up with the Joneses like they could in the past. But still, it's probably a baller show. I've never actually seen them live. I don't know if you consider them metal, but the latest like uh Judas Priest album, so good. Firepower. big fan. Like that, basically almost every song from that album ended up on my workout playlist. I don't know, like so few artists do that to me. Like Tool, okay? Tool. I discovered Tool in high school. They only had 3 albums out at the time. It was before Lateralis. It was definitely before what was their latest one called? I can't even remember. If you have to ask if Judas Priest is metal, you're doing it wrong. Thanks, man. Here you go. Here comes the gate. All the gatekeeping. I guess Tool isn't really metal either, but anyway, never seen them live either because all their fucking like shows just like sell out in the first 3 seconds. I'm not even exaggerating, like 3 seconds or something. So I've never actually seen Tool live. Forgot where I was actually going with this. Anyway, I found them in high school. Absolutely fell in love with them. Their latest albums, like I like them, but they don't draw me in like those first 3 albums. But this Judas Priest album kills me. Like it just, I don't know what it is. It's so good. I'll just be driving to like the grocery store and I'll just throw on Firepower and just go like nuts. It's so good. Look, man, I gotta ask because the like lines of what's metal, real metal, and what isn't are all fucking blurred, and I don't know. Music, I've always been that guy that just listens to music because I like it, and then I get put into these weird silos, and I'm like, I never asked to be put here. I just like this band. I don't know what they are. Are they prog rock? Are they fucking butt rock? Are they metal? Are they death metal? Are they hair metal? Like I don't. Are they new metal? Like what even is all that? I don't know. My wife could actually describe each and every one of those genres. I can't. I don't care. I just listen to music that I like. Tool be prog metal. Okay. Keep going. So what would Cannibal Corpse be? Is that death metal? Because I don't really like that stuff very much. I can get into like Metalocalypse, but because they're basically making fun of the genre, so I'm into it. That makes sense? I don't know why, but music, man. It's like one of the most inclusive and yet exclusive like things you could ever belong to. American death metal. Okay, well that's a whole nother can of worms. I don't know if I want to open. But fuck it. You know what? I've still got drink left. Let's go. What's American death metal? Right. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of my point. So he's saying that there are as many subgenres of metal as there are electronic music, which I dig. Like I got into electronic music in the like late 90s when I discovered what trance was. I'm like, trance, this is cool, this is fun. Like I can, study to this or I can like work out to this. Is Seether metal? Didn't they do that song Arms of an Angel or whatever? Oh god, now I have to check. I'm so sorry, guys. This was supposed to be a 40K thing, and now it's all metal, but... Was it Arms of an Angel? No, it was, It was a song about... It was a song that became, like, a love song, but it wasn't a love song. It was a song about, like, this dude is with this lady that he doesn't want to be with, and he's always like looking at this other lady and he wants to be with that lady, but it was sang in this like really like lovey-dovey way, and then everybody thought it was a love song. It's like, this isn't a love song. He's legitimately saying he doesn't want to be with you. He wants to be with this other person. Thank you. I always thought like Seether was just rock. Hinder. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you're right. That is Hinder. Whatever. So many of those bands just blur together to me. It's like NSYNC versus like 98 Degrees versus Backstreet Boys. Like, you know, I'm into it. I grew up in like in that time. I get it. I like some of that music, but sometimes I can't tell them apart. Unless it's like Backstreet's Back, all right. Okay, well that's clearly the Backstreet Boys, right? Like NSYNC isn't gonna sing a song called Backstreet's Back. I should probably preface this entire conversation with explaining that I love and know that I love shitty music. Like, Kesha, love her. Not even kidding. I own her albums. I own her merch. Love her music. It's all crap, but I fucking love it anyway. So, just in case anybody thinks like, oh, that Rick guy's got great taste in music. I don't. I just listen to music I like, and some of it's garbage. Oh man, I'm so excited to put these guys on the table. I just want to shoot some dudes with my angry ass dwarves. Is that too much to ask? I've been waiting now for like 4 days for my resin to be delivered so I can print my land fortress. I've never had a resin delivery take this long. Okay, hold the phone. Incubus does not sound the same as Seether and Hinder. You can't put on Incubus next to that song that I just talked about and say that they sound the same, can you? Like, but to me, like, Hinder and like Seether are like generic butt rock. Like, it's not to say that I don't like their music, but it's a certain, like, I have to be in a certain mood, right, to enjoy that music. But like Incubus, I actually was going to see them live a couple weeks ago, and I ended up getting COVID and I couldn't go. And my friends who did go say it was a great show. Big old rock just fell off of this base, so that's fun. Lips of an Angel. That's the song. Oh my god. I watched a YouTube video where they walked down the aisle to the song Lips of an Angel. That's some white trash shit right there. Just gonna say that. Everyone's thinking it. I'm gonna say it. That song is literally about a dude who doesn't want to be with the person that they're with and wants to be with the person that they're looking at, that they wish they were with. Yeesh. Not a good walk down the aisle song. Not a good wedding song. Just don't have that in your wedding playlist ever. Like, I don't think I need to say that to anybody, but like, don't have that. Also funny, I love Top Gun. Okay? One of my favorite movies ever. When Maverick came out, I've already seen it. I actually watched it today with my dad because he hasn't seen it. I watched Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick back to back by myself earlier this week. I've watched Top Gun Maverick probably 7 or 8 times now. Fantastic movie. Danger Zone, I put on as a joke everywhere I go, on like every bar, like jukebox and everything. And it's gotten to the point where all my friends, when I'm invited to a wedding, they tell their DJ, If this guy comes up to you, no matter how much he pays you, do not play Danger Zone. We will pay you $5 more than he's asking. So there you go. But every wedding could be made better with Danger Zone. Also not a joke. Like, that is... Yes! I don't even care that it's basically a Death Star trench run. I don't care. That movie is fucking awesome. Like, as somebody who's been an aviation nerd their entire life, like, to see all the little stuff that they added in to everything, like, learning about how they filmed it and all the back to scene stuff, God, I love that. Like, I love it more every time I watch it because of that crap. All right, this is no longer NoobHammer. This is now Top Gun Fan Hammer. End of story. We're just going to talk about Top Gun now. Yes, don't have ZZ Top at your wedding. Either. Like, does anybody listen to the lyrics of music at all anymore? Or watch the music video, because that's the best part about that Hinder song, is if you watch the music video, it is very even if you turn the sound off, it is very clear that guy does not want to be with the person that he's with and wishes he was with the person in the background of the entire music video. So yeah, don't play it at your wedding. If you don't do anything else I ever tell you, don't do that and you'll be happier. All right, I think I'm going to do the same battle damage now, but with a little lead belcher. Is this backwards to you guys? I can never tell with my broadcasting software if what I'm seeing is what I'm broadcasting or if it's... Okay, great. Well, now I know, so I can at least do this. No? Oh. So that's the wrong. Hold on. Do this. There. Hey! How about now? Is it backwards? Okay, good. All right. Oh God, what is there's a Billy Idol song that I've been in love with lately. And that one's okay. That one is fine to play at the wedding. Play Def Leppard after the reception when everybody's going home and the only people still dancing are drunk. White wedding. Play Def Leppard then. That's fine. Oh my God. Can't believe I have to look this up. Eyes Without a Face. I don't know why. I love that song now. Like, just rediscovered it in the last, 8 weeks, 6 weeks, maybe. Love that song. Eyes Without a Face. It's great. All right, anyway. Lead Belcher time. This has been fun, though. We are talking about Billy Idol. Yeah, thanks for joining. I had to go to my local game store to buy some more Lead Belcher because I ran out. Speaking of Rebel Yell, how did Drowning Pool mix modern rock and classic 80s on a Rebel Yell cover? I have a whole covers playlist on Google Play Music. I don't know if I have that one. But now, more than anything in the world, I want that one. That is fantastic. I would play it. No, I don't give a shit. I'm I make $4 a month off of this channel. Hold on. Let's see. Drowning Pool did a cover? Really? Rebel Yell. I'm not gonna play it because I don't think everyone else wants to hear it. But yeah, there it is. Wow. Now I know. Thank you very much. No one wants to hear that for like, I don't know. It's always weird to me when folks do like tons of musical streaming in their non-music streams. Because I'd rather you guys be able to listen to whatever music you want to listen to than hear me drone on like an idiot. Like, rather than be forced to listen to music I'm making you listen to while I'm droning on like an idiot. Is that making sense? I love how Drowning Pool has had 3 different series or singers. I know the original guy died. I don't know what happened to that second guy. Well, you know who probably does know. And this isn't, I'm not trying to be like dismissive, but Wikipedia probably knows. Nightwish. Damn, God, how old are all you guys? This is fantastic. I always kind of feel like I'm the old guy at a lot of these like tournaments and stuff, but then I realize if I look at my analytics, most of the folks actually watching my stuff are my age. So old as time, beautiful. Do you owe Jesus a nickel? Nightwish is also a plague on humanity. Okay, so we're all about the same age, except Garrett, who's the fucking baby. I'm 38. I know Ken owes Jesus a nickel. At least a nickel. Maybe a dime by now. This is good stuff. Okay, so it just goes to show, like, I know what my user base is. This is basically just me. I'm into that. And Garrett. It's me and it's a whole bunch of me and Garrett. Even when I play like Chaos Gate, really? You guys just tune in for that? Is it because we just like talk about music from our high school years? Oh, guess who's back? It's Sylvie. Turn that back on. Boop. There she is. Being all chill. Oh. She's licking me. She's so cute. God damn. I've never had a cat quite like this. Like, I've had cats my whole life, but she is the most incredibly loving, like, snuggly ass, just like, oh, God, she's so great. Nightwish, good. Disturb, Rammstein, also great. Tool was a huge thing of mine. Korn, oh God, I wore. I don't know if you can, but like I would have worn out my original Korn disc if that was even a thing that you could do. But like falling away from me, I still turn that on every now and then and just like, fuck, this is good, man. This is so good. I gotta be in a mood now though. Like I gotta be in a very specific mood. But at the time, I'd be like, well, school's over. Turn on some Korn, right? Good. Been playing, mainly collecting. Been playing what? What have you been playing? Are you playing like an instrument or? Oh yes, Disturbed does some amazing covers, and their Sound of Silence one is chilling, man. The first time I heard that, I was like, this sounds familiar. Who is that? And I listened to like the whole thing, and I was like, holy shit, that's Disturbed. So good. Okay, Ken, but which Hairspray band was your favorite? Because like there are a lot of like 80s hair bands that were amazing. Like Twisted Sister. Stuff's good. Breaking Benjamin. No, I don't think they were. Oh man. I don't know. I see what you're saying, but they had some good shit. But it was like the problem is a lot of those bands is it's not stuff that stands any test of time, right? Like it's a firecracker for the 2 weeks that it's really good, and then you are always like, oh yeah, hey, I kind of remember this song, but you're never like, oh, I gotta make a playlist with this song on it, right? But like Queen, Freddie Mercury, I'm pretty sure was dead before I was born, and that dude, like, I'm just like, if I make an 80s playlist, you gotta bet your ass there's Queen on it. Like, it is hands down, like, Queen's gonna be on there. I'm not gonna apologize that I'm playing to the masses or whatever. This shit's amazing. Led Zeppelin, also great. Guns N' Roses, too, man. Appetite for Destruction, one of the most influential albums ever been made. Ever. Like, every song on that fucking album is fire. As the kids say. I feel like if Freddie Mercury were alive now, that dude would be in just so much better place. Just like socially, right? Because of like what he was and like what he stood for and like who he loved and all that. I think he'd be in a way better place now just because like we're so much more respectful and understanding of that kind of choice. But that shit's hard, man. That shit's like real fucking hard. Even now, even when you are in an more understanding place. Like I can't imagine trying to be gay in the 80s or something. Is Appetite for Destruction the best-selling album ever? I was pretty sure Garth Brooks and the Beatles were the two best-selling artists ever. I guess maybe not individual album. Sindri, you're fighting an uphill battle now, man. I think this comments like section it does not agree with you, dude. I think we got a whole lot of people who like Guns and Roses up in here, man. You I don't know, dude. If you want to stick to your guns or your roses, that's cool, but I'm just letting you know. Might want to this might not be the forum for you. Although, I'll plug my Discord one more time. And Sindri is in there on Off Topic plugging tons of great music all the time. So, even though you might not like GNR, he likes a lot of great music. So, link in the description. I think. I don't even remember if I stuck the link in there or not. I'm very bad at this. Like, this is amateur hour, and I'm okay with it. This is just a thing I do as a hobby. Oh yeah, man, that like metal really makes. I see. This is the problem: is even with a really nice camera, I don't know if this works super well in like showing you guys. So these were like little black spots. And I think the silver is kind of washing out everything else, but like it really just looks so much. It's got that extra little, just that little, you know what I mean? Where like you look at something and like that's gorgeous, and I don't know why. Your eyes are just like sucking it in, and your brain is processing it, but you can't understand why. And this just adds like a little bit of that like extra pizzazz. that you're never really going to be able to quantify unless you're a really good painter or a like painting judge, and then you're going to immediately see it. But if you're like me and you're a total amateur, you have no idea what you're doing, and you just follow like tutorials that you see online, you're like, that looks amazing. I don't even know why. Thank you, Sindri. Yeah, I've been slowly perfecting this, like, this, this yellow color. By the way, on my warriors, so I didn't do that magenta ink tip until after I'd actually painted them yellow, but because the way colors work, if you paint magenta ink over the top of the yellow, it still turns orange. So you can kind of do those two steps in either way that you want, which I thought was pretty cool. I just painted one to see what would happen, and it still turned orange, and I was like, oh shit, this is working way better than I thought it would. In fact, I even said it just like that. Yeah, big fan of this. The airbrush. Like, once again, makes me look like I know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. No idea. Best, Aerosmith. Oh my god, you guys. You're just, like, hitting everything. Okay. So, I grew up in a very conservative household. And I listened to a lot of oldies growing up, a lot of big band, like Moody Blues, stuff like that, which is all still music I very much like. Um, but in high school is when I started to really like, actually, it's probably 8th grade, whatever, close enough. I started to kind of find my way in the music world, right? It's a lot harder back then in 1996 or whatever than it is now, where there's like streaming and fucking YouTube, and you can just kind of listen to whatever you want. But anyway, it used to like take a little bit of effort to actually find new music. Aerosmith. Napster was a thing, but this is like that's after what I'm talking about though. Aerosmith I discovered because in my Boy Scout troop there was an older guy who he loved Aerosmith. We went to Philmont Scout Camp. And we spent 2 weeks in the woods. We did like, I don't know, 120 miles of backpacking in 2 weeks. I was like 14 or something, 13. Anyway, he brought along a bunch of his like Aerosmith albums, and I loved them. Loved them. So I go home, start like finding Aerosmith albums at like garage sales and like, you know, what is it, 20 like century music and stuff. Bought them all up. I still, to this day, I own the only band I've ever bought well, other than Tool. Tool and Aerosmith are the only bands I've ever bought every single one of their albums and actually have like in my closet right over there. And I know like all the words to all their songs. I love Aerosmith. And I know they're not even good. Like I mean they're fun, but they're like hair metal, like butt rock combo. I don't know. They're fun. I love them. But yeah, love Aerosmith. Probably why I like branched out and started actually listening to all the stuff that I actually listen to now, you know? Like you could probably draw a line from like Aerosmith to everything that I like now 30 years later or 20 years later. All more than 20 years later. Oh my god, I'm so old now. Wasn't until I started playing bass that I really appreciated Black Sabbath. But Iron Man was my jam in preschool. Nice. Yeah, it's funny how that stuff transcends like time and generations. I love that. Like the idea of like a preschooler just being like into iron, I am Iron Man is insane to me. That's fucking fantastic. Oh, Paladin, yep. You might have. Oh, oh, God. I have so many things just popped into my mind. So he says, controversy time. I won't admit to enjoying Nickelback. Dot, dot, dot. And I'm not saying the disgruntlement isn't deserved. Dot, dot, dot. But they are a top selling band for a reason. Chad Kroger married Avril Lavigne, okay? I'm going to throw that out there. Was it Chad Kroger? I don't even know if I'm saying these names right. But yeah, I mean, she has slowly sunk down. See? There she is. She's just slowly here. I'm gonna raise this up so you guys can see into her little bed here. Because otherwise you wouldn't know she's there. There you go, Sylvie. My wife bought them this heated cat bed. Heated. I just, I mean, she's like, should we buy them this bed? And I said, hell yeah, of course. But like, these cats are so fucking spoiled. It's insane. Okay, all the battle damage is done. So now I have a serious question for everybody. And this is no joke, because I've been actually going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for fucking weeks on this. What color do I paint their undergarments? Or their woo! What color do I paint their like so they have void armor on, right? And that's yellow. Like that's been picked out. Um, but their little like vac suits. Do I go with a dark gray, like a Mechanicus gray? Come on. Stop finding my face. Find the model. So like their pants and stuff, right? Here, actually, let me just pull up I think some of you have been part of this discussion like previously, but all right, here we go. This is perfect. No! No! Oh, Warhammer! All right, let's see. If I go to web browser, yeah, I thought it was gonna be all broken. Never mind. It's all broken. I'm sorry. You won't actually see shit. Um, nice. Except this, because it's gonna switch over anyway. Beautiful. Anyway, so what? Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So the void armor is yellow, right? The base is going to be this red Mars color, right? So this is the two, like this is what they're primarily going to see, okay? So then what do I do to bring that down? I do have Incubi Darkness, which is like a blue gray. Um I bought dark neutral gray from Pro Acryl, which is basically like Mechanicus standard gray. Or I brought bright warm gray, which is kind of like a, I don't know, it's like a cream color. And I'm not sure what I should do. Or Incubate by Darkness is a great idea. And so part of me was like, do I just start painting my little infantry models with like different color like PJs basically, and then see what people like? Yeah, so exactly. So Garrett is saying what I was thinking. So like if I do like, you know, like Mechanicus Standard Gray or this like dark gray, I do like this warm gray, and then I do like Incubate Darkness, whatever other colors you guys kind of like recommend, then we can decide from there. And then for the cloak of my HQs, whew, sorry, I was gonna do. It is almost midnight now. Wow. I was gonna do like a green, because if you look at the color wheel, green is actually kind of next to yellow, so they're complementary of sorts. They're not directly across from one another, so it's not directly complementary, but it stands out in this way that's like really cool. Oh yeah, no, I love their paints, man. They're like metallics. I don't think you can beat them. Um, a green is going to be your complementary. See, there you go, bam. Like so, like I said, so green, like not a pastel green or like a bright green, but like you know, just like a green, like not a dark green or a light green, but just green, like just a green, right? I like to make Gortha Rally, yeah. I will. I was gonna do standard leather on their like equipment belts and the cloaks of the riders. But on my HQs, I was gonna do like the inside would be like a brown and the outside like a green, like a jade green, kind of. If that makes sense. So like the green and the yellow would stand out from the red, and the red and the yellow would stand out from the green, right? So like I'm saying like the eye would be drawn to these three primary, well, primary colors. I guess green isn't a primary color, and neither is yellow even. Anyway, red is uh no, RGB. So green is a primary color. Anyway, so yellow isn't, but green is, and red is. So you would be drawn to these like really bright colors. Um, PA is great, dude. Pro Acryl, like, I know if you've been on my hobby streams before, I basically just like suck their dick, but like Monument Hobbies makes some really good shit. No joke. Their brushes are great. Their dry brushes are great. Their paints are great. They don't have a huge swath of paints. Not like Citadel or whatever, but like the paints that they have are so good. Their metallics are just like, I don't know if you have ever painted with like Retributor armor from Citadel, and you're like, oh, this paint is so great. But then you paint with like warp storm bronze, I think it is, and you're like, man, this is garbage. All of Pro Acryl's metallics paint like Retributor armor. All of them. The silver, the gold, the rich gold, the warm gold, the bronze, the dark bronze. They all paint in that like incredible, like one coat almost way. Oh, they're so good. So my HQs were the only ones that were gonna actually have green cloaks, so they already are gonna like stand out. These guys would all have brown cloaks. Um, And I was thinking on the sergeants, on like my infantry, I'd make their like one of their pauldrons orange, which would really like mesh in with their yellow, but like stand out. And then obviously the medics for my warriors would have a pauldron that's white with a big like red cross emblem on them. Oh yeah, dude. Warplock bronze is one of the worst colors. That and I've got it up there too. It's their copper, hash nut copper. Garbage. Garbage. It's all metal flake, so it just immediately makes your paint water just trash. And it has no pigment. Like it's just awful. Like I think I should just like throw them away. Okay, so here's the thing. White, usually a paint in the ass. Pro Acryl's titanium white, incredible. If you do like three or four drops of the titanium white to one drop of white ink, you'll never have trouble painting with a brush white ever again. I fucking promise you. It's so good. Yes, I can have 2 water cups, I know, but I'm just like, I'm pointing it out as like another thing that's just like a pain in the ass, right? You're painting and you're like in a groove and you're like, I messed up my water, right? And then you gotta like stand up, clean it out. I know this is like first world problems. You should probably get more drinking water too at the same time. I don't know. I'm just saying. Sorry, Sylvie, I scared you. See, I could spill it just like that. What I would have spilled if I didn't have my water bottle in a sippy cup. Innovate, thanks for swinging by, man. We are getting really... I think I'm drunk enough now where I don't want to try really painting anymore, but I do want your guys' feedback. So... I'm telling you, white used to piss me off too, but this is the thing, like, Corax white, garbage. Whatever is it, White Scar, worse garbage. Like Citadel whites, garbage. I'm sorry, I have a ton. Look at it, all those paints. Most of them are Citadel. Let me see if I can actually zoom in with this. You can get some of this in like. Anyway, most of them are. Their whites are fucking trash. And Corax, so I bought White Scar thinking it'd be great. And it has so many chunks of pigment in it, it's effectively unpaintable unless you're into like painting rock creatures. So then I'm like, okay, well maybe I just bought the wrong white. I'll buy Corax white and then I'll buy Apothecary white to do like the recesses. No, also trash. Like Corax white spreads like paste. It's so bad. Even if you thin it down, and if you thin it down too much, it's just like so translucent. You need 7 or 8 fucking coats to get anything on there. But Monument Hobbies, Pro Acryl, Titanium White, that thing is magic. And if you don't like that, if it's not good enough, for every 4 drops of their paint, if you add in 1 drop of white ink, I'm telling you, solves all your white. Like, you can paint with a brush for that for days. No problem. It's so good. I stopped using Citadel white and I bought a $10 tube of the like cheap ass Michaels, you know, Hobbies, the giant tube, like 7 ounces of white paint. That paint's way better. Way better than White Scar or Corax white. Even that white is garbage. The titanium white, little drop of white ink from like Liquitex, never would have any trouble painting creamy, beautiful white ever again. It might take 3 layers because it's white, but like it's gonna go on smooth, it's gonna dry fast, and you're gonna love it. I'm telling you, like Monument Hobbies Pro Acro White is really, 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 really good. And I'm started to see them pop up in a lot of the hobby videos I watch. Like, They got called out in a Artist Opus video lately. They got called out in a Pete the Wargamer video lately. Pro Acryl. Great. In fact, Pete the Wargamer, if you go on Warhammer community, and they don't outright say this, obviously, but if you go on Warhammer community, there's an article about Votann paint schemes. If you scroll down and you look at the Ursa Regulates, that was painted by Pete the Wargamer. If you then go to his YouTube page and you watch his video where he paints that model that they put on there, there are almost no slick Citadel paints on that whole model. It's all Pro Acryl, except for washes and like one contrast paint, I think. Yeah, he loves Pro Acryl, at least on that model. I mean, paints are paints. Like, you should use what works and what doesn't. Like, you shouldn't be tied to one. But the Pro Acryl stuff has really amazed me. It is so heavy on pigment that you rarely need like more than one coat, and if you do, you only need two. And if you want a lighter coat of it, you mix it with a little bit of white or a little bit of pale yellow or a little bit of medium, and you're just good to go, man. It's so good. Pete does also use, he likes Citadel contrast, and he likes their shades. So he likes Nuln Oil, he likes Agrath Earthshade, he likes what's the other, there's like Agrax, and there's I don't fucking remember. It's back there. It's up there somewhere. I don't remember though. But he does like their shades a lot. Nuln is one, but he likes Nuln, he likes Agrax their shades, and he likes Seraphim Sepia. That's the one. Thank you very much. Yeah, and that guy, God, his conversions. I watched his Grey Knight one. I almost quit the hobby. Like when he made the Grey Knight kill team, I was like, fuck it. If this is who I'm up against, like, I'm not even gonna. This is insane. New recipe is watery contrast. All right. I don't know. I just started like playing, I don't know, I guess I'm coming up on 3 years now, actually. In January, it'll be 3 years. So I don't know. I know there was the Gulliman shade or whatever, which a pot on eBay now is like $50. Apparently they just don't make anything like it now. I'm not gonna quit the hobby. I'm just saying, like, when I first watched, like, Pete's, if you haven't watched that Grey Knight kill team conversion, it's gnarly, man. It's so good. Like, he takes inspiration from Blade Guard, from Grey Knight Terminators, he like Assault Intercessor arms, bits and bobs and bags and pouches from like all over the place. It's just like, ugh. Oil washes. Okay, so I started playing with that with my Nurgle demons, or with all my demons, because like if you fuck up on a demon, who cares? Like, oh no, there's a streaky bit on a demon. Cool, right? Because it's a demon. Who gives a shit? Like on a Grey Knight, you want everything to be like pristine and perfect. You want every like panel lining to be exactly right. You want like, they are a Grey Knight, right? They are like, they are the penultimate fucking Astartes. They have the Emperor's own gene seed. They have specialty war gear and armor that is crafted by like the best artificers ever created by man, right? They are imbued by like psychic energies. But a Nurgle demon, it's like, oh, it's a goopy, weird blob of pus. Like, who cares if there's a little bit of like crap like dripping down it? So he's playing with oil washes because you can just slather them on there and be like, and just walk away for 30 minutes and then come back and like pull it off. Oil washes are a lot of fun. Problem is you can't do anything fucking fast if you're doing oil washes. Dollar store army dudes. That's a great idea. Never thought about that. So you actually go, she is resting her face on my paint water. I don't know if you guys are actually like looking at this. But even if I wanted to paint right now, I couldn't because my cat is resting her face on my paint water. Yeah, so I really like to paint in batches. I don't know why, like maybe it just like gets my OCD going. OCD. I don't really have that, but like my ADD. Let's say that. I do have that. So like if I have 30 models, whatever they are, if I can paint all the greens, and then I can paint all the browns, and then I paint all the reds, and then I do all the panel lining. Like for some reason in my brain that like makes sense. It is like a lot of fun and is interesting to me to do that. But if you told me like, no, you have to paint each model individually, I'd be like, fuck you, fuck this, I'm out of here. Like, I'm gonna go do something else. I'm gonna go play video games, or like, I don't know, I'll go rob a bank or something. Like, that sounds way more fun than painting each one of these models individually, if that makes sense. But like, I can easily do 20 models at a time, 40 models at a time. That's what I did for LVO when I realized I have to build 40 interceptors and 5 more strike squads and 2 tech marines and 4 dread knights. I just sat down and I'm like, okay, I paint all the base coat the same on all these models. So like, it doesn't matter to me if it's an interceptor or strike squad or dread knight. I'm just going to be like, you know, airbrush away, done. It's fast and easy for me, and like I can get in like into a groove. I like throwing a podcast or some music and I just go. But if you told me like, no, you have to paint each of those models individually, I'd be like, I don't want to play this game anymore. This game isn't worth it. Like, I'll just play on like TTS. Because I just can't do it. Like my brain can't break it down that way. And if I mean it can, but it's just like now it's a tedious, like horrible mess. Right? And then I'm going to worry, like, am I doing every model the same? I want to do every model the same. Like, these are gray knights. Like, they're supposed to look the same. I have notes, literally notes on Google Sheets that say, like, this is exactly how I paint all of my gray knights. This is their base coat. This is their shade. This is what angle or like, you know, an approximate angle. It's not like precise. You know, how I paint, what highlights, what shading colors. You know, I have all this stuff written down. And that way, even in 5 years, I go paint a new box of Grey Knights, they'll look the same as the Grey Knights that I have now. Exactly. Thank you. Garrett fucking gets it. He is he says he has stripped in intercessors 3 times to make sure that they look the same. It's exactly what I'm fucking talking about. I look at my first Grey Knights, I don't put them on the table because I'm like, I painted them totally different than how I paint everything else now. I can't do it. I won't do it. Like, I should pretty much throw those models out because they're never going to go on the table ever again. And some of them are interceptors with paladin heads because I didn't know any better at the time. Whoops. Anyway, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's the stuff, like, that's how my brain works. So like these Votans, I'm purposefully taking step out of my comfort zone and making them kind of like dirty and gross by adding this like battle damage, just like chipping, where my Death Watch and my Grey Knights, especially in my Grey Knights, are like pristine. Like, my Death Watch, in my head, they like finish their mission, they go back, they do like PCS, clean their armor. They fix everything that could possibly wrong with it, and they repaint it, everything. So when they go back into battle, everything is like pristine. But these guys, in my head, are just out there. I mean, they're just trying to find minerals and stuff for like months or years on end, and they're way more worried about where is our ammo? Who gives a shit about paint, right? Dusk Raiders should be gross though. Dusk Raiders should be gross. Like that's their thing. It's like the Dusk Raiders became the Death Guard, right? Like makes sense to me that they're gross, and not gross like they're oozing pus or like whatever, as they like eventually will. But you know, the Dusk Raiders were always. It's like if you made a Raptors, if you made the Raptors chapter, like I wouldn't expect them to look parade ready. Like they're not ready to go march in front of the fucking Emperor, right? They're like pragmatic. They are like, they have missions. They are like on recon. They are figuring out their enemy's weaknesses. They are neck deep in mud, and then they attack. Like they're not gonna apologize for being dirty. But Ultramarines are like, nope. Guilliman could swing by at any time. And if we aren't in the thick of battle, your shit better be clean. End of discussion. And so that's kind of like, that's the way I think of those two chapters. And so if I were to paint them, that's how I would paint them differently based off of that, right? So. All right, Ken, I don't know why you're still here when you have to be up in 4 hours, man. That's insane. But thanks for swinging by. You should have gone to bed, I don't know, 3 hours ago, probably. But cheers, man. Okay. Sindri, I'm telling you right now, if you want to paint Imp Fists for 30K, this is what you do. Now, I'm assuming you have an airbrush. If you don't, I'm wasting my breath. But go on to YouTube. Type in Goobertown Hobbies, how to paint yellow armor. Done. Follow exactly what he says. That's exactly what I did on all these guys. If I do say so myself, they look great. If you don't have an airbrush, you can do that with you can do all of that with a brush, but the gradient, like going between the yellow, the bright yellow up top and the orange on the bottom in the shade is not going to look the same. So go there, watch that video, watch it 3 times, listen to it on repeat while you sleep so that it just psychically enters your like mind. That shit is amazing. It looks so good. Not even kidding. Like I said, airbrush makes me look like I know what I'm doing. Do not know what I'm doing. I don't know color theory. I don't know. I can barely clean my airbrush, man. Like I'm telling you, just I got like I don't have an entry level airbrush. Actually, I do, but I also have like an intermediate level airbrush. I don't have a fancy airbrush. I don't know what I'm doing. And I can paint models that look like this as a base. If you want your Imp Fist to stand out and look really fucking good, man, I wish I didn't have to run out to go grab them, but I have 2 Sagittar that I 3D printed, and they look so good in this scheme because like they have all these ridges, they have all these like contours. So when I turned the model upside down and I just kind of sprayed that pink with the airbrush, it all that stuff caught all of that, and so all those things naturally grabbed all of that shade And so when I painted the yellow over it, the top of it is like fuck off yellow, like yellow. And then all of those little recesses are orange. And then the whole underside of it is orange. It looks great. And it took minutes. I think each Sagittar probably for all 3 layers probably took me 5 to 6 minutes per Sagittar. And that's just so like no time at all, basically. Super good. Master Rick. I'm telling you, I'm not a master. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I can't say that more than I have during this stream. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm following exactly what other people have told me to, and it looks super good. So, all I can do is give you a swift kick in the ass that he's likely not going to because he has, 40,000 viewers, and I don't. So, I haven't seen Richard Gray's airbush. Do you have that? Can you actually like paste it up in here? I'd love to see it. I'm always trying to expand my repertoire. Like maybe he has a great idea. I don't know. And what's actually, and I will say this again, what was really interesting about Goobertown Hobbies tutorial specifically, which they don't call out in there, but I found this out by myself, is that I painted all my warriors. I forgot to paint. Whoops. Here we go. I forgot to paint the shade with that pink. Come on, auto adjust. There we go. So after I had primed these pink, Zenithal highlighted white, I then airbrushed them entirely contrast paint Imperial Fizz yellow, and they were super yellow. And the pink areas still were like sort of orange. I then went back after they were yellow. I did not repaint them. Just after they were yellow, I sprayed that magenta ink from the bottom, and it turned yellow or orange and shaded it, because that's what magenta does on top of yellow. And they look like this now. And so you can naturally see where that orange is, like on the underside of the armor plates and stuff. God, come on, auto adjust. Let's do this. Come on. Don't. It's probably because there's a face in the. Yeah, there you go. So you see how it has that like natural dark area under like the armor plates and stuff? That's all just I sprayed it with magenta ink. That isn't me like pin washing that. Took no time, man. I went like that's it. Took no time. So good. So you could pin wash them if you want to go that extra mile. I'm not. Those are troops, man. Like, I'm not gonna pin wash my troops. I'm not going for a Golden Demon award. I'm gonna paint their weapons and their backpacks and their like visors, and I'm gonna do a little OSL on their like little armband things. I'm gonna call it good. That's it. That's it. Oh, and base them obviously, but like, that's it. I'm done. Those like those guys are over half done now. So try it out. Airbrush, man. Makes you look like a fucking genius when you are. If you're like me, anyway, you are a flopping around in the mud. You have no idea what you're doing. But it's after midnight. I've been live for 3.5 hours. I'm gonna call it. Thank you everybody for swinging by. Thank you for looking at my cat my cat cam, even if she kept running off. I have, so like I said, I'm ready to get that 8th Brotherhood for the Rapiers video up. And then hopefully after that, I'll have what I think a Grey Knight's Army of Renown could look like video. I know Zach and I are planning some more battle reps. I'm not sure if we'll do them live or if I'll do like a heavily edited version again. They just take so much time. But anyway, thank you everybody for swinging by. Don't forget to call your mother, and I will see you next time.